Hey guys, tonight we slip into the sandals of a Roman plumber, trudging through the sweaty, sun-baked streets of ancient Rome, where the air hums with the chatter of merchants and the clatter of carts. Picture yourself swaddled in rough wool, dodging donkey dung while the Tiber River glints in the distance, its waters feeding the city's veins. Pipes you'll soon know better than your own heartbeat. Life here is no chariot race. One wrong step in this urban jungle, and you probably won't survive this gig long enough to afford a decent toga. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop a comment with your city and the time where you're at. I'd love to know who's joining us from across the globe. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You come into the world on a muggy summer night in 70 CE, squalling in a cramped insular apartment in Rome's Suburra district, where the air smells of stale bread and unwashed bodies. Your mother, a weaver with callous hands, cradles you while your father, a laborer who hauls stone for builders, paces a narrow room. The walls are thin, and neighbors' arguments seep through like damp through plaster. Your first breath mixes with the city's pulse. Distant shouts from the forum, the creak of ox carts, and the trickle of water from a nearby fountain. That fountain, fed by Rome's aqueducts, is your earliest lullaby, its steady drip weaving into your dreams. You don't know it yet, but water will shape your life, as surely as the Tiber carves its banks. The Suburra is a maze of leaning tenements, where five-story insulae teeter like drunken giants, their upper floors sagging under the weight of too many families. Your home is a single room, 12 feet square, with a straw mattress shared by you, your parents, and soon a younger sister. The floor is packed dirt, and a chipped clay lamp sputters olive oil fumes at night. You learn to crawl here, fingers brushing against cold lead pipes that snake through the walls, carrying water to wealthier homes below. These pipes, you'll later discover, are Rome's lifeblood, channeling aqueduct water to public fountains, baths, and the villas of the elite. Historians note that by the 1st century CE, Rome's 9 aqueducts delivered roughly 1,000 liters of water per person daily, a feat unmatched for centuries. But for you, a plebeian, water means queuing at dawn with a chipped amphora, elbowing neighbors for a splash of murky liquid. Life in the Suburra is gritty, and you grow up fast. By age 5, you're toddling after your mother to the fountain, dodging street dogs and hawkers peddling dubious sausages. The fountain spout, carved like a lion's head, fascinates you. Water gushes from its jaws, and you stick your grubby hands under it, giggling at the cold spray. But there's a quirk to this scene. Some Romans, desperate for beauty, mix crocodile dung into their face creams, believing it smooths wrinkles. You don't know this yet, but you'll later see such oddities clogging pipes, a plumber's nightmare. For now, you're just a kid, splashing in puddles while your mother haggles for lentils. The fountain's basin is your playground, but it's also a lesson. Water is power, and those who control it hold Rome's reins. Your parents are no-nonsense plebeians, scraping by in a city where the rich bathe in marble pools and the poor, like you, make do with public latrines. Your father's hands are rough from hauling stones, and he smells of sweat and dust when he slumps home at dusk. He tells you stories of Rome's greatness, how aqueducts were built under Claudius, stretching miles to feed the city's thirst. But he also grumbles about the lead pipes, how they poison water, if not cleaned right. Historians still argue whether lead poisoning weakened Rome's people, with some claiming it caused infertility and madness, while others say the flowing water kept pipes safe. You don't care about debates yet. You just know the Suburra's water tastes metallic, and your stomach often churns after drinking it. By age 7, you're running errands, carrying your father's tools to construction sites. You weave through Rome's chaos, past temples gleaming with white marble, past slaves lugging amphorae, past philosophers arguing in the shade. The city's noise is relentless. Hammers on stone, vendors shouting, and always the gurgle of water through hidden channels. You start noticing pipes everywhere. Lead tubes peeking from walls, clay channels underfoot. One day, you trip over a broken pipe leaking into the street, and a grizzled plumber, cursing in Latin, shoos you away while patching it with clay. His tools, a hammer, a chisel, a roll of lead sheet. Catch your eye? You don't know it, but that moment plants a seed. Water, you realize, isn't just for drinking. It's a trade, a life. Your family's insula is a fire trap, with wooden beams and no escape but a rickety staircase. One night, a neighbor's lamp sparks a blaze, and you're yanked from sleep, coughing in smoke. Your father hauls you and your sister out, and you watch flames lick the sky until bucket brigades douse them. The next day, you hear a rumor. Some say the fire started because a pipe burst, flooding a room and shorting a lamp. It's probably nonsense, but it sticks with you. Water can save or destroy. You start pestering your father with questions about pipes, and he laughs, saying, "Kid, stick to hauling stones. Plumbing's for lunatics." But you're hooked, trailing after plumbers like a stray dog, watching them wrestle with Rome's endless leaks. Your childhood isn't all grime. You steal moments to play knucklebones with other kids, tossing sheep bones in alleys while betting pinches of salt. Once, you sneak into a public bath, awed by the mosaic floors and steaming pools, until a slave chases you out. You dream of owning a shop someday, maybe even a house with its own water hookup. But for now, you're a Sabura rat, born in a city where water flows freer than opportunity. As you drift asleep on your straw mat, the distant fountain's drip is a reminder. Rome's heart beats through its pipes, and you're starting to hear its rhythm. You're 9 now, scampering through Rome's Sabura like a feral cat, your bare feet slapping against cobblestone slick with who knows what. The streets are a stew of smells: rotting cabbage, smoky braziers, and the faint metallic tang of water seeping from cracked pipes. Your family's insula looms above, its walls stained with soot and graffiti, while the shout of hawkers and wails of babies fill the air. You're no stranger to grind. Your parents expect you to pitch in, fetching water or carrying baskets of laundry to the Tiber's banks. But it's the city's underbelly, the hidden world of drains and fountains, that pulls you in. You're starting to see Rome not as a maze of buildings, but as a living beast, its veins pulsing with water you'll one day learn to tame. Mornings start early, your mother shaking you awake before dawn to beat the crowds at the public fountain. You lug a clay jug, its handle biting into your palm, and join the line of yawning plebeians. The fountain spout gurgles, spitting water into chipped basins, and you overhear grumbles about the aqueducts running low again. Rome's water system, a marvel stretching over 90 miles of stone channels, delivers enough to keep the city alive. But droughts or mismanagement can choke the flow. You don't know the numbers. Historians later calculate the aqueducts carried up to 1 million cubic meters daily, but you feel the strain when the line stretches longer and tempers flare. One old woman mutters about cursed pipes poisoning her kids, and you wonder if it's true or just Sabura gossip. Your days are a blur of chores and survival. You dodge carts piled with amphory, sidestep piles of refuse, and once nearly get trampled by a senator's litter carried by sweating slaves. The Sabura streets are narrow, barely wide enough for two to pass, and they're always wet, either from leaking pipes or the slop buckets tossed from upper windows. You learn to shout "heads up" when you hear a window creak, a reflex that saves you from a drenching more than once. But there's a quirky detail you notice. Some Romans swear by tossing a coin into fountain for luck, a habit that clogs drains and makes plumbers curse. You fish out a bronze as from one such blockage, pocketing it with a grin, your first pay from the water gods. School's a luxury you can't afford, but the streets teach you plenty. You learn to haggle with vendors, trading insults as much as goods, and you pick up snippets of Latin curses that make your mother sweat your head. Your father's still hauling stones, his back stooped from years of it, and he started coughing, a dry, rattling sound that worries you. He tells you about the Cloaca Maxima, Rome's massive sewer system, built centuries ago to drain the Forum's marshes. It's a point of pride for Romans, proof their city bends nature to its will. But historians still argue whether the cloaca's stagnant pools bred disease, or kept Rome cleaner than most. You just know it smells like a latrine on a bad day, and you steer clear when floods back it up. You spend hours exploring alleys, tracing the paths of lead pipes that poke from walls like bony fingers. You're fascinated by how they connect. Joints sealed with clay, lead sheets hammered into shape. One day, you spot a plumber, a wiry man named Gaius, patching a leak outside a baker's shop. His hands move fast, smearing resin to seal a crack, and you linger, asking questions until he snaps. "Kid, you gonna help or just gawk?" You hand him a tool, a rusty chisel, and he grunts approval. It's your first taste of the trade, and it feels like holding a piece of Rome's pulse. You start trailing Gaius whenever you can, ignoring your father's grumbling about wasting time on leaks. Life isn't all pipes and dreams. Hunger's a constant companion, and your family's meals are thin barley porridge. Maybe some onions if the market's kind. Your sister, now 4, tags along on your errands, her chatter a bright spot in the gloom. You make her laugh by pretending to wrestle an invisible hydra in the street, earning a scolding from a passing matron. But there's danger, too. One night, a brawl spills out of a tavern, and you pull your sister into an alley as knives flash. Rome's no place for the soft, and you're learning to keep your wits sharp. You tell yourself you'll get out of Subura someday, maybe even afford a house with its own water hookup. A pipe dream, your father would say. You start noticing the city's rhythm, how water shapes it. The rich get private pipes to their villas, while you and your neighbors queue for public fountains. It's unfair, but that's Rome. Class is carved into every cobblestone. You hear whispers of a plumber who got rich fixing patrician baths, and you wonder if you could be him. For now, you're stuck dodging slop buckets and dreaming of clean water. One afternoon, you slip on a slick stone and crack your jug, spilling water into the street. Your mother's fury stings worse in the fall, but as you scrub the jug clean, you notice a tiny lead pipe feeding the fountain, its seam split. You touch it, imagining you could fix it. That's when you know you're not just a Subura kid. You're a plumber's son and water's calling. You're 11 now, a wiry kid darting through Rome's chaotic Subura. Your eyes always drawn to the city's veins, those lead and clay pipes humming with water. The streets are a sensory assault. Baking bread mingles with the reek of open sewers, and the clatter of carts drowns out the prayers chanted at corner shrines. You're still fetching water for your family, but your mind's elsewhere, snagged on the fountains and drains that keep Rome alive. You're not just playing in puddles anymore. You're studying them, noticing how water swirls around a clogged grate or sputters from a worn spout. The city's a puzzle, and you're starting to see its pieces. Pipes, channels, and the men who wrestle them into submission. Your days are split between chores and sneaking off to watch the water. Mornings, you haul laundry to the Tiber with your sister, who's now 5 and insists on helping by splashing you. You tease her about marrying a fish, earning a giggle and a shove. But by noon, you're free to roam, drawn to the public fountains where water gushes from stone faces, lions, nymphs, or grimacing gods. You linger near the Lacus Curtius, a small basin in the Forum, watching water ripple under the sun. Roman engineers, you'll later learn, mastered gravity-fed aqueducts centuries ago, funneling water from distant springs to feed these fountains. The Aqua Appia, built in 312 BC, was the first, a fact bandied about by proud locals. You don't know its name yet, but you feel its pulse in every spout. One fountain near your insula is your favorite, a cracked basin with a dolphin spout that leaks more than it pours. You crouch beside it, tracing the lead pipe feeding its base, fascinated by its joints. One day, you spot a quirk. Someone's wedged a fishbone into the spout, maybe as a prank or an offering. It's clogging the flow, and water sprays sideways, soaking a passing slave who curses in Greek. You laugh, then feel a pang. Someone's got to fix that, and you want it to be you. You start pestering Gaius, the plumber you met last year, trailing him like a shadow. He's surly, with a beard like tangled wire, but he lets you carry his tools, a hammer, a roll of lead, a clay pot of resin, grumbling that you're less useless than most. Gaius works the Sabura's leaks, patching pipes for shopkeepers and tenement landlords too cheap to hire proper crews. You watch him bend lead sheets into tubes, hammering them shut with a precision that looks like magic. He shows you how to smear resin on joints to stop drips, though you burn your fingers and curse loud enough to make him smirk. Water's a cruel mistress, he says, but she pays if you tame her. You're hooked, spending hours at his side, learning the feel of lead, soft, heavy, almost alive under your hands. There's a debate among scholars about whether Rome's lead pipes cause widespread poisoning, with some blaming them for everything from infertility to emperor's madness, while others argue the water's constant flow diluted the risk. You just know the pipes taste bitter when you lick them, a habit Gaius slaps out of you fast. Your family's not thrilled with your obsession. Your father wants you hauling stones like him, says plumbing's a fool's trade. Too much sweat for too little coin. Your mother's softer, but she worries you'll get hurt crawling into sewers or fall off a ladder fixing a rich man's bath. Still, you sneak off whenever you can, dodging their lectures. One afternoon, you're at the dolphin fountain when a pipe bursts, spraying water into the street. Gaius is there, knee-deep in muck, and you jump in, holding a clay patch while he seals it. The crowd cheers, and you feel a rush, your first taste of fixing Rome's heartbeat. Gaius tosses you a cestitious, muttering, "Don't spend it on dice, kid." You clutch the coin, dreaming of more. The Sabura's dangers don't stop for dreamers. You dodge thieves in alleys, their knives glinting in torchlight, and once see a man collapse feverish after drinking from a stagnant fountain. Disease is a shadow here. Malaria and dysentery creep through the insulae, and you've heard whispers of cursed water. Your sister's cough worries you, echoing your father's, and you start boiling your family's water over a smoky brazier, a trick Gaius swears by. You also learn the city's rhythm. Mornings for fountains, afternoon for markets, nights for fires and fights. One night, a brawl outside a tavern sends you scrambling up a wall, your heart pounding as you watch fists fly below. You joke to yourself that plumbing's safer than street life, but deep down, you know both are a gamble. By year's end, you're Gaius's unofficial apprentice, carrying his tools and soaking up his gruff lessons. You're still a kid, but Rome's teaching you fast. Water's a lifeline, a trade, a battle. You lie awake at night. The fountains drip outside your window like a heartbeat, plotting your escape from the Sabura's grind. Maybe you'll fix the Emperor's baths one day, or at least a merchant's. For now, you're just a boy with a chipped jug and a dream, watching water cars pass through a city that never sleeps. You're 13 now, a lanky teenager with callous hands and a permanent squint from peering into Rome's dim alleys and dank pipes. The Sabura is still your world. Its narrow streets choke with vendors, stray dogs, and the ever-present slosh of water from fountains or broken mains. You're no longer just a kid fetching water. You're knee-deep in the family grind, helping your parents keep the insula's roof over your heads. But your heart's elsewhere, tangled in the city's waterworks, where every leak and gurgle feels like a challenge you're itching to tackle. You're starting to see yourself not as a Sabura rat, but as a future plumber, someone who could bend Rome's watery veins to his will. Your days start before dawn, hauling laundry or grain sacks for your mother, while your father limps off to his stone hauling job, his cough worse each month. You and your sister, now 6, Make a game of dodging slop buckets tossed from windows, but you're always watching the pipes. Lead tubes snaking along walls, clay channels buried underfoot. You've been trailing Gaius, the grizzled plumber, for years now, and he's finally letting you do more than carry tools. He's a hard taskmaster, barking orders in a voice rough as gravel, but you soak up his lessons like dry earth drinks rain. You're learning the trade not from scrolls, but from sweat and curses, the way Rome builds its heroes. One morning, Gaius takes you to a baker's shop where a pipe's leaking, flooding the floor with muddy water. You hold his tools, chisel, hammer, a roll of lead sheet. While he cuts away the damaged section, he shows you how to shape a new pipe, heating lead until it's pliable, then folding it into a tube. You try it, burning your fingers and earning a grunt of approval when you don't flinch. Not bad, kid, Gaius says, which feels like a laurel crown. Rome's plumbing system, you learn, is a marvel. By the 1st century CE, it boasts over 500 miles of pipes feeding baths, fountains, and homes. But it's also a mess with constant leaks and blockages. Gaius tells you about a quirky fix. Some plumbers use ox fat to seal joints, swearing it lasts longer than resin. You try it, gagging at the smell, and decide resin's bad enough. Your family's not sold on your plumbing dreams. Your father, his back now permanently hunched, wants you to stick to laboring. Safer, he says, though his cough suggests otherwise. Your mother's more practical, pointing out that plumbers don't starve, but she worries about you crawling into sewers or getting crushed by a collapsing aqueduct. Historians still argue whether Rome's water system was a triumph or a slow poison, with lead pipes blamed for everything from memory loss to stillbirths. Gaius scoffs at the idea, saying the water moves too fast to leach much lead, but you notice he never drinks from the pipes himself, sticking to spring water hauled from outside the city. You start doing the same, boiling your family's water when you can afford the charcoal. You're learning the Sabura's underbelly, too. You help Gaius fix a pipe behind a tavern, where drunks toss dice and flirt with women in stained tunics. One night, you overhear a rumor. A plumber found a gold ring in a drain, sold it and bought a shop. It's probably nonsense, but it fuels your dreams of escaping the insula's damp walls. You start saving your coins, sestertii earned from small jobs with Gaius, hiding them in a clay jar under your mattress. Your sister finds and squeals, so you bribe her with a honeyed fig to keep quiet. You're not above a little scheming. Rome's teaching you to play its game. The city's dangers keep you sharp. You dodge a runaway car in the market, its driver cursing as olives spill into a drain. Another day, you see a man collapse near a fountain, his lips blue. Bad water, maybe, or just Rome's summer fever. You and Gaius work fast to avoid disease, cleaning tools with vinegar and steering clear of stagnant pools. You're also noticing the class divide. Wealthy homes get private pipes, while your neighbors queue for hours at public fountains. One afternoon, you fix a small leak for a fruit vendor who pays you with a bruised peach and a grin. You eat it slowly, juice dripping down your chin, and joke to yourself that it's sweeter than a senator's wine. Your first big job comes late in the year. Gaius takes you to a weaver's tenement, where a cracked pipe's flooding the ground floor. You crawl under the building, your knees sinking into mud, and hold a torch while Gaius patches a break. The air's thick with mildew and rats skitter past, but you feel alive, part of Rome's hidden machinery. When the water stops gushing, the weaver's wife tosses you a crust of bread, and Gaius mutters, "You're not useless anymore." It's high praise, and you walk home taller, the Sabura's chaos fading into the background. You're starting to carve your place in this city, one pipe at a time, and the fountain's nightly drip sounds less like a taunt and more like a promise. You're 15 now, all elbows and ambition, weaving through the Sabura's crowded streets with a sack of tools slung over your shoulder. Rome's a beast that never sleeps, its air thick with smoke, sweat, and the faint gurgle of water through hidden pipes. You're not just a kid anymore. You're Gaius's shadow, his unofficial apprentice, learning the plumber's trade in the city's gritty underbelly. The Sabura is still home. It's instantly leaning like tired old men, but you're starting to see beyond its filth, to the waterworks that pulse beneath. Every leak you patch, every pipe you seal, feels like a small victory over Rome's chaos, a step toward something bigger than hauling water for your family. Mornings find you at Gaius's side, trudging to jobs across the Sabura. He's a bear of a man, his hands scarred from years of wrestling lead, and he's taken to call you pipe rat with a half smirk. Today, you're headed to a tanner's shop where a pipe's burst, soaking hides and turning the floor to sludge. Gaius hands you a chisel and lets you cut the damaged lead. Your hands shaky but eager. You shape a new pipe, hammering it closed while Gaius watches, muttering about your clumsy paws. When the water flows clean again, the tanner grunts thanks and tosses you a copper as. You pocket it, feeling the weight of your first real work, your fingers still tingling from the lead's cold bite. Rome's water system is a marvel, and you're starting to grasp its scale. By now, the city boasts 11 aqueducts, channeling water from springs as far as 50 miles away to feed fountains, baths, and elite villas. Historians later estimate this system delivered enough water to rival modern cities, a testament to Roman engineering. But it's not perfect. Leaks are constant, and you and Gaius spend hours patching pipes that crack under pressure or erode from neglect. There's a quirky trick you learn. Some plumbers mix ground pumice into clay seals, claiming it grips better in wet conditions. You try it, sneezing as the dust coats your face, and Gaius laughs so hard he nearly drops his hammer. "You look like a ghost," he says, and you fire back that he smells like one. Your family is still scraping by. Your father's cough has worsened, and he's working less, leaving you to pick up extra chores. Your mother weaves late into the night, her fingers nimble but tired, while your sister, now 7, trails you like a puppy, asking endless questions about pipes. You tell her they're Rome's veins, carrying life, and she nods solemnly, as if it's a sacred truth. But life's not all pipes and dreams. The Sabura's dangers are ever present. Thieves lurk in alleys, and you've learned to keep a small knife tucked in your belt, just in case. One evening, you dodge a drunken brawl outside a tavern, the air sharp with curses and spilled wine. You joke to yourself that plumbing's less risky than tavern hopping, but the truth is, crawling into a dark sewer feels just as dicey. Historians still argue whether Rome's aqueducts were a public good or a privilege for the rich, with private pipes siphoning off water meant for all. You see it firsthand. Wealthy homes get steady flows, while your neighbors queue at dawn for a trickle. Gaius grumbles about senators hoarding water, but he's pragmatic, taking their coin when they call him to fix their baths. You tag along on one such job, awed by a villa's mosaic floors and private fountain, its spout carved like a leaping fish. The patrician owner barely glances at you, but his wife slips you a fig as thanks, and you eat it slowly, savoring the sweetness. It's a glimpse of a world you'll never touch, but it fuels your hunger to rise above Sabura's muck. You're learning fast, but mistakes sting. One day, you misjudge a pipe's pressure, and water sprays you in Gaius, soaking you both. He cuffs your ear, growling, "Measure twice, cut once, idiot." You laugh it off, but the lesson sticks. Precision matters when Rome's water is at stake. You're also noticing the city's pulse. How fountains slow at night, how drains clog after festivals, how water shapes every corner of life. You start sketching pipe layouts in the dirt, dreaming of bigger jobs, maybe an aqueduct crew or a bathhouse contract. Gaius catches you at it and snorts. Dream later, rat. Work now. But his eyes soften, and you know he sees your spark. By night, you collapse on your family's straw mattress. The fountains drip outside your window a steady lullaby. You're saving every coin, your clay jar heavier each month, and you whisper to your sister about buying a shop someday. She giggles, saying you'll sell fancy water to emperors. You grin, but the thought lingers, water's power, and you're learning to wield it. Rome's a hard teacher, but you're a quick study, and every fixed pipe feels like a step out of Sabura's shadow. You're 17 now, taller and leaner, with hands that know the heft of a hammer and the sting of molten lead. The Sabura is still your cage. Its streets a tangle of shouts, smells, and the endless gurgle of water through Rome's battered pipes. You're Gaius's apprentice in earnest now, no longer just fetching tools, but shaping pipes and sealing leaks beside him. The city's waterworks are your obsession, a maze of lead and clay that hums beneath the chaos. And you're starting to feel like you could master it. Every job, every drip stopped, is a small rebellion against the Sabura's grind, a whisper of a life beyond these crumbling insulae. Your days begin at dawn, when the city's fountains run strongest. You meet Gaius at his workshop, a dim shack cluttered with lead rolls, chisels, and pots of resin that smell like pine and regret. Today, you're headed to a butcher's shop where a pipe's cracked, flooding the floor with water that smells faintly of blood. Gaius lets you take the lead, and you cut the damaged section with a steady hand, shaping a new lead pipe while he watches, arms crossed. You heat the lead over a brazier, the fumes making your eyes water, and fold it into a tube, sealing the joint with resin. When the water flows clean, the butcher claps your shoulder, offering a string of sausages you know better than to eat. Gaius grunts. Not bad, pipe rat. And you smirk, hiding how much his approval means. Rome's plumbing is a beast, and you're learning its quirks. The city's aqueducts, marvels of engineering, channel water across miles of stone arches. But the lead pipes they feed are prone to cracking under pressure. By the 1st century CE, Rome's water system supports over 1 million people, a fact historians marvel at for its scale. But down here, it's all about the grind, patching leaks, unclogging drains, and dodging the muck that clogs both. You discover a quirky trick. Some plumbers swear by rubbing olive oil on lead joints to keep them flexible, though Gaius calls it fancy nonsense and sticks to resin. You try it once, and the joint holds, but the oil leaves your hands slick for days, and you joke you could wrestle a gladiator and slip right out. Your family's struggling harder now. Your father's cough has turned into a hacking that keeps the insula awake, and he stopped working, leaving you and your mother to carry the load. Your sister, 8 and sharp as a tack, helps by selling woven mats in the market, but her chatter about pipes makes you laugh. She's picked up your obsession. You're saving every sestertius. Your clay jar now heavy enough to clink when you shake it, but it's not enough to escape the Sabura. Historians still argue whether Rome's lead pipes poison its people, with some blaming them for everything from madness to low birth rates, while others say the water's flow kept the danger low. You're cautious, boiling your family's water over a smoky brazier, but you can't help licking your fingers after a job, tasting the lead's bitter tang. The Sabura's dangers keep you on edge. You dodge a pickpocket in an alley, your knife flashing just enough to send him running. Another day, you see a woman collapse near a fountain, her skin sallow, bad water or fever, you're not sure. You and Gaius work fast, cleaning tools with vinegar to avoid whatever's lurking in the drains. You're also noticing Rome's class divide more sharply. A job takes you to a merchant's house, where a private pipe feeds a garden fountain shaped like a peacock. The merchant's daughter, draped in silk, eyes you like you're a stray dog, but her father pays well, and you pocket the coin with a nod. You mutter to Gaius that you'll have a fountain like that someday, and he snorts, "Sure, and I'll be emperor." Mistakes still happen, and they sting. You botch a seal on a pipe in a tavern, and water sprays the owner's prized amphory. Cracking one. Gaius makes you pay for it. A week's wages gone, and you curse yourself under the stars. But you're learning, getting faster, surer. You start noticing patterns. How pipes clog after festivals. how pressure drops when aqueducts are cleaned. You sketch layouts in the dirt, dreaming of bigger jobs. An aqueduct crew, maybe, or a contract for a bathhouse. Gaius catches you and laughs. Keep your head out of clouds, Rat. But you see the glint in his eye. He knows you're not just dreaming. Nights find you bone-tired, collapsing on the straw mattress beside your sister, who whispers questions about pipes until you shush her with a story about Neptune taming the Tiber. The fountain outside drones on, its drip a steady pulse, and you lie awake, counting your coins in your head. You're not just a plumber's apprentice. You're a kid with a plan, carving a path through Rome's watery veins, one patch at a time. The Subura is still home, but it's starting to feel like a place you'll leave behind. You're 19 now, your hands rough as the cobblestones you tread, your shoulders broaden from hauling lead and wrestling pipes in Rome's sweaty Subura. The city's a cauldron of noise, vendors hawking fish, hammers ringing on anvils, and always the gurgle of water through the maze of pipes you're learning to command. You're still Gaius's apprentice, but you're no longer just his shadow. You're his right hand, trusted to handle small jobs while he growls orders or naps in the shade. The Subura's filth and clamor are your world, but you're starting to see a way out, each fixed leak a coin closer to a life beyond these sagging insulae. Water's your trade now, and you're damn good at it, even if Rome's chaos keeps trying to drown you. Today's job is a mess. A tenement's main pipe has burst, turned the ground floor into a muddy swamp. You wade in tunic soaked, while Gaius shouts from dry ground, "Don't just stand there, pipe rat." You cut the damaged lead, your chisel steady despite the water spraying your face, and shape a new pipe, hammering it shut with a rhythm you've memorized. The tenants cheer when the flood stops, and the landlord, a pinch-faced man, tosses you a sestertius. You pocket it, your clay jar home growing heavier. Rome's water system is a beast. Historians later praise its aqueducts for delivering enough water to rival modern cities. But down here, it's a daily fight against cracks and clogs. You've learned a quirky trick. Some plumbers burn sage in your pipes, claiming it blesses the water. You try it, coughing through the smoke, and Gaius laughs so hard he nearly chokes. "Stick to resin, fool," he says, and you grin, knowing he's right. Your family is leaning on you more. Your father's better than now. His cough a wet rasp that scares you, and your mother's weaving barely covers food. Your sister, 9 and cheeky, sells her mats in the market, but you're the main earner. Your plumbing job's keeping the insula's rent paid. You've saved enough to buy a new brazier, and you boil water religiously, wary of the diseases that haunt the Subura's fountains. Historians still argue whether Rome's lead pipes poison its people, with some linking them to everything from madness to childlessness, while others insist the water's flow kept the danger low. Gaius swears by spring water, and you follow his lead, hauling it from a well outside the city when you can. The metallic taste of piped water lingers in your memory, and you're not taking chances. The Subura's dangers are a constant hum. You dodge a thief in an alley, your knife flashing just enough to scare him off, and you've learned to spot fever in the eyes of passers-by, glassy, sunken, a warning to steer clear. One day, you and Gaius fix a pipe near a tavern, the air thick with wine and sweat. A drunk stumbles into you, slurring about a cursed fountain that made his friend sick. You shrug it off, but later, you notice the fountain's water smells off, and you report it to Gaius. He nods, impressed, and you feel a flicker of pride. You're not just fixing pipes, you're guarding Rome's pulse. You're also seeing the city's divide more clearly. A job takes you to a merchant's villa, where a private pipe feeds a garden fountain shaped like a swan. The merchant's son sneers at your muddy tunic, but you bite your tongue and pocket the coin, muttering to yourself that you'll have a better fountain someday. Mistakes still burn. You botch a job at a baker's, misjudging a pipe's pressure, and water floods the shop, ruining a batch of bread. Gaius makes you mop it up, growling, "You owe me a day's pay, rat." You take it in stride, joking that the baker's rats will thank you for the bath. But the loss stings. Coins you can't spare. You're learning fast, though, memorizing pipe layouts and pressure quirks. You sketch designs in the dirt, dreaming of bigger jobs, an aqueduct repair, maybe, or a contract for a public bath. Gaius catches you and snorts. You'll be emperor before you touch an aqueduct. But his tone's softer now, and you know he sees your potential. Nights find you exhausted, collapsing beside your sister, who whispers questions about pipes until you shush her with a tale of Neptune wrestling a river. The fountain outside drones on, its drip a steady heartbeat, and you lie awake, counting your savings in your head. You're not just an apprentice anymore. You're a plumber with a spark, carving a path through Rome's watery veins. The Subura is still a cage, but you're starting to see the key, and every fixed pipe feels like a step toward freedom. Section 8. You're 21 now, your body filling out with the muscle of a man who wrestles pipes for a living, your face shadowed by a scruffy beard that itches in Rome's humid air. The Subura is still your stomping ground. Its alleys a web of intrigue, where water leaks from every crack, and the crowds pulse like the Tiber after a storm. You're Gaius's full partner in the trade, handling jobs solo when he's off nursing a hangover or haggling for lead. But life's not all leaks and labor. Puberty's hit you like a burst main, flooding your thoughts with awkward urges and stolen glances at the market girls. You're navigating Rome's chaos with a new distraction, your heart pounding as hard as your hammer on a stubborn pipe. Mornings start with the usual grind, but your mind wanders. You meet Gaius at the workshop, grabbing tools for a day's work, a fountain repair in the forum, where the city's heartbeats loudest. The forum's a whirlwind. Senators in togas debate under marble columns, merchants hawk spices from far-off lands, and fountains gurgle like gossiping matrons. You're knee-deep in the basin, scraping calcification from a lead spout, when you spot her, a girl with dark curls and a basket of olives, weaving through the crowd. She's from a nearby insula. You think, her tunic simple but clean, her laugh cutting through the noise like a chisel through clay. You fumble your tool, splashing water on a passing philosopher who glares daggers. Gaius snickers. Eyes on the pipe, rat, not the skirts. Rome's forum is the empire's stage, and you're a bit player dodging the spotlight. By the 1st century CE, it's packed with basilicas and temples where laws are made and fortunes traded. Historians praise its role as a political hub, where emperors like Trajan would later add grand arches. But for you, it's a hunting ground for awkward courtship. The fountain's your backdrop. You learn a quirky habit from the locals. Some toss bay leaves into spouts for love luck, claiming it sweetens the water and clogs the pipes, giving you extra work. You fish one out, pocketing it with a grin, thinking maybe it'll help with her. Gaius rolls his eyes, muttering, "Superstitions for fools, resins for leaks." Your days blur into a mix of work and wistful stares. You fix a pipe behind a fruit stall, your eyes darting to where she sells olives, her smile flashing at customers. You muster courage one afternoon, approaching with a leaky excuse, asks if her family's fountain runs clean. She laughs, saying it dribbles like an old man, and you offer to check it, your voice cracking like a teenager's. She's Livia, daughter of a potter, and her eyes sparkle when you joke about wrestling Neptune for better water. But the forum's crowds are merciless. A rally erupts nearby, plebeians chanting against high grain prices, and you're swept apart by shoving bodies. You curse the timing, dodging elbows while Gaius yells for you to hurry with the tools. Puberty's awkwardness hits hardest in these moments. Your body betrays you, sweaty palms when she's near, a stammer that makes Gaius tease you mercilessly. Courting's like sealing a joint. He says, too much pressure and it bursts. You laugh it off, but inside, you're a mess, your thoughts swirling like water in a clogged drain. The Subura is no help. Nights are filled with tavern songs of lost loves, and you lie awake. The fountains drip mocking your solitude. Your family notices your distraction. Your mother smirks, saying you're mooning like a calf, while your sister giggles and asks if you'll bring home olives. Your father, weaker now, just nods, whispering to chase what makes you happy. Political rallies add spice to your courtship woes. The forum's alive with them. Crowds gathering around orators railing against corruption or praising the emperor. You get caught in one, patching a fountain while a tribune shouts about water taxes hitting the poor. Livia's there, handing out olives to the mob, and you wave, but Serge pushes you into a senator's litter, earning a cuff from his guard. You scramble away, face burning, and later joke to Gaius that politics is leakier than Rome's pipes. Historians still argue whether these rallies sparked real change or just vented steam, with some claiming they foreshadowed revolts, while others say emperors manipulated them like puppet shows. You don't care. You just want a quiet moment with her. You start timing your jobs around her market days, offering small fixes for her father's shop, a dripping spout mended for free. She rewards you with olives, her fingers brushing yours, sending sparks up your arm. You talk in snatches about the Sabura's grit, dreams of a better insula, how water shapes the city. She teases you for your lead-stained hands, calling them silver mitts, and you retort that they're good for catching slippery hearts. The forum's chaos interrupts often. A cart overturns, spilling amphory, or a flock of birds scatters from a temple roof. But you steal glances, your awkwardness easing into something warmer. One evening, a rally turns rowdy, fists flying over some edict on aqueduct repairs. You spot Livy in the fray, her basket knocked aside, and you push through, grabbing her hand to pull her clear. She clings to you, breathless, and in a quiet alley, you share your first kiss, clumsy, tasting of olives and sweat. Gaius finds you later, smirking. Fix that leak, eh? You blush, but the world feels brighter. The Sabura's noise a distant hum. Nights now hold whispers of her. The fountains drip a rhythm to your budding romance. You're still a plumber at heart, but love seeping in, making Rome's chaos a little less daunting. Your confidence grows, but mishaps linger. You botch a pipe seal thinking of her, flooding a stall and earning Gaius's wrath. Head in the game, rat! He barks, but there's a twinkle. He remembers his own youth. You save more coins, dreaming of a ring or a small gift, while dodging the forum's pitfalls, pickpockets, profits, and pushy vendors. Livia becomes your anchor, her laughter cutting through the din, and you start seeing the city through her eyes. Fountains as meeting spots, pipes as lifelines to a shared future. As months pass, your courtship weaves into work. You fix her family's fountain, impressing her father with your skill, and she sneaks you bread when your jobs run long. The rallies fade into background noise, your focus on her, awkward dances in market squares, stolen moments by spouts. Puberty's storm is calming, leaving you steadier, ready for whatever Rome throws next. The Sabura is still home, but with her, it feels less like a cage and more like a starting point. You're 23 now, your hands stained with lead, and your heart tangled in thoughts of Livia, the olive seller who's become your anchor in Rome's restless Sabura. The city is a furnace of noise and heat, vendors shouting, carts rattling, and the constant drip of water through pipes you've learned to tame. You're no longer Gaius's apprentice. You're a journeyman plumber, trusted with jobs that take you from grimy tenements to the edges of patrician villas. Today, you're headed to your first paid solo gig, a wealthy merchant's bathhouse, where a clogged pipe is turning a private pool into a swamp. It's a chance to prove yourself, to pocket coin that might buy more than bread, maybe even a future with Livia. But Rome's a fickle beast, and every step forward comes with a splash of trouble. You stride to Sabura, tools slung over your shoulder, dodging a mule cart and a kid tossing knucklebones. The merchant's villa lies just beyond the Esquiline Hill, where the air's cleaner and the streets wider. You reach the gate, greeted by a slave who eyes your muddy tunic, like it's an insult. The bathhouse is a marvel. Mosaic floors with dancing nymphs, steam rising from a hypocaust, and a fountain shaped like a dolphin. The clogged pipes deep in the system, and you crawl beneath the tiles, torch in hand, to find a mess of hair, oil, and, oddly, chicken bones. Romans, you've learned, treat drains like shrines, tossing in weird offerings. Historians note that private bathhouses were status symbols by the 1st century CE, reserved for the elite who could afford private pipes. You don't care about status. You just want the water flowing and the merchant's coin in your hand. You clear the clog, chiseling out the mess and sealing the pipe with resin, your hand steady despite the damp heat. The water gurgles back to life, and the merchant, a paunchy man in a silk tunic, nods approval, tossing you a denarius, more than you'd expected. You pocket it, feeling the weight of possibility. Gaius taught you a quirky trick for tough clogs. Pour vinegar down the pipe to loosen grease. You try to hear, and it worked, though the smell made you gag, and you mutter to yourself that you'd rather wrestle a sewer rat than sniff that again. The merchant's wife offers you a cup of watered wine, a rare kindness, and you sip it slowly, savoring the moment in this world of wealth you're only borrowing. Back in the Subura, life's grittier. Your father's bedridden, his cough a constant now, and your mother's weaving can't keep up with the bills. Your sister, 10 and sharp-witted, sells her mats in the market, but you're the family's backbone, your plumbing jobs paying for bread and medicine. You visit Livia's stall on the way home, her smile cutting through the day's sweat. She teases you about your fancy villa job, calling you Lord Pipes, and you fire back that she's a queen of olives, earning a laugh. Your courtship's steady now. Stolen kisses by fountains, shared bread under torchlight, but the class divide stings. Her father, a potter, eyes you warily, wanting a better match for her than a Subura plumber. You're saving every coin, dreaming of a ring or a small shop, but Rome's costs are brutal. The city's dangers don't pause for love. You dodge a pickpocket near the forum, your knife a quiet warning, and hear whispers of fever spreading through the insulae. Historians still argue whether Rome's water system spread disease or saved lives, with some blaming stagnant fountains for malaria, while others praise the aqueducts for flushing filth. You're cautious, boiling water for your family, and avoiding the Subura's murkier spouts. A job with Gaius takes you to a tenement where a pipe's burst, flooding a family's room. You fix it, but the mother's thanks are laced with fear. Her kid's sick, and she blames the water. You slip her a coin, knowing it's not enough, and trudge home, the Subura's weight heavy on your shoulders. Mistakes still bite. You misjudge a pipe's thickness at a tavern, and the patch fails, spraying ale-soaked water across the floor. The owner curses you out, docking your pay, and Gaius, though softer now, grumbles, "Think before you hammer, rat." You laugh it off, joking that the tavern's rats needed a bath. But the loss stings. Coins you meant for Livia's gift. You're learning, though, mapping Rome's pipes in your head. Each job teaching you the city's pulse. You dream of bigger gigs. Public fountains, maybe an aqueduct crew. Gaius catches you sketching a pipe system in the dirt and nods, saying, "You're not hopeless." It's high praise, and you carry it like a trophy. Nights find you with Livia when you can steal time, sitting by a fountain as she talks of her dreams. A small house, a garden, a life beyond the market. You tell her about the villa's dolphin fountain, promising to build her one someday, and she laughs, saying you better learn to carve stone first. The Subura's noise fades when you're with her. The fountains drip a soft rhythm to your plans. You're still a plumber, still a Subura kid, but with her hand in yours and a denarius in your pocket, Rome feels less like a cage and more like a challenge you might just conquer. But independence has its leaks. A job goes sour when a homeowner accuses you of shoddy work. Turns out his neighbor tampered with the pipe for spite. You redo it free, gritting your teeth, and joked Olivia that Rome's feuds are deeper than its sewers. She laughs, easing the sting, and you press on, your reputation holding. You're saving for that ring now, sketching designs in the dirt like you did pipe layouts as a kid. The Subura is still gritty, but with each modest home mended, you feel its grip loosen. Water's your world, and you're flowing forward, steady as the aqueducts themselves. You're 25 now, stepping out from Gaius's long shadow. Your tools your own and your reputation spreading through Subura like water through a cracked basin. Roams a relentless hum around you, smoke from braziers curling into the air, the clatter of looms in Inslee, and the ever-present trickle of fountains that call you to work. You've gone independent, a journeyman plumber tackling leaks solo, your name whisper among shopkeepers and tenement dwellers who need a fix without the fuss of a big crew. Livia is still your light, her olive stall a daily stop, but the weight of providing, for her, for your family, pushes you harder, each job a drop in the bucket toward a life less leaky. The Subura's modest homes are your battlefield now, where every pipe tells a story of neglect, and you're the one rewriting the endings. Your first solo day dawns muggy, the Tiber's mist clinging to the streets as you sling your sack, hammer, chisel, lead rolls, resin pot, and head to a weaver's tenement. The landlord's griping about a persistent drip flooding the lower rooms, and you dive in, crawling under the floorboards where the air's thick with mildew and rat droppings. You find the culprit, a lead pipe joint eroded by years of pressure, weeping water like a heartbroken matron. You cut it clean, shape a new tube with practice folds, and seal it tight, the resin's piney scent cutting through the dank. When the drip stops, the weaver's wife presses a loaf of bread into your hands, warm and crusty. You break off a piece on the spot, chewing slowly, thinking how far you've come from fetching tools for Gaius. Rome's plumbing network, by this era, includes over 700 public fountains, a mainstream feat that kept the city hydrated amid its million souls. Word spreads fast in Subura. Your fixes are quick, your price is fair, and you don't skim on materials like some shady crews. By midday, you're at a baker's, unclogging a drain stuffed with those scraps and, quirkily enough, a lost bronze ring that must have slipped off a kneading hand. You fish it out, polish it on your tunic, and hand it back, earning a free pastry and a laugh from a baker, who jokes you're part Neptune, part thief. You retort that if Neptune had your tools, he'd charge double and pocket the treat for Livia. These modest homes are a far cry from the villas you glimpsed before, but they're honest work. Leaky roofs in Inslee, sputtering fountains in courtyards, pipes groaning under the weight of Rome's thirst. You weave through the district's maze, from the Aventine's lower slopes to the Viminal's crowded blocks, your feet knowing every slick cobble. Life's a balance of sweat and sweetness. Your father's passed last winter, his cough finally silencing him, leaving a hole in the insula that echoes in quiet moments. Your mother leans on you more, her weaving slow with age, and your sister, now 12, helps at Livia's stall, her chatter a reminder of simpler days. You and Livia steal evenings by the fountain. Remember that dolphin spout you fixed as a kid? It's your spot now, where you talk of marriage. A small shop, maybe a kid or two. She worries about your risks. Crawling into dark spaces, breathing lead fumes, but you brush it off with a kiss, saying water's your ally, not your enemy. Historians still argue whether Rome's aqueducts fostered quality or widened the gap, with some claiming they benefited all classes, while others point to private taps siphoning public flows. A tough job hits midweek, a modest home near the Esquiline, where a family's entire water line has collapsed, turning their floor to mud. You arrive to chaos. Kids splashing in the mess, the father cursing the gods. You assess it fast, tracing the pipe back to a street main, and realize it's a bigger fix than expected. You hammer in a temporary clay patch, then melt lead for a proper tube. The brazier's heat making sweat pour down your back. Hours pass, your muscles aching. But when the water runs clear, the father claps your shoulder, offering wine and a handful of sestertii. You sip the wine, tart like unripe olives, and joke that if plumbing paid in gold, you'd buy the whole Sabura. He laughs, saying you're already its king, and you walk away taller, the coins clinking in your pouch. The Sabura's quirks keep you on your toes. One home has a pipe clog with what looks like herbal pouches, some fringe remedy for bad vapors, the owner claims, stuffed in to purify the water. You clear it, shaking your head at the mess, and advise sticking to boiling. Another gigs in a widow's cramped room, where the leaks from a roof channel, rainwater mixing with aqueduct flow in a sloppy junction. You seal it with resin and a bit of ox fat. Remember Gaia scoffing at that trick? And she pays with a woven scarf, soft against your neck. You're building a network now. Referrals flow like the Tiber, from bakers to tanners to potters like Livia's father, who's warming to you after you fixed his workshop drain for free. Dangers lurk, as always. You dodge a collapsing scaffold on one street, heart racing as stones tumble, and hear of a plumber crushed in a sewer cave-in last month. You carry vinegar for cleaning tools, wary of the fevers that brew in stagnant water, and boil your own supply at home. Livia fusses over your cuts and burns, wrapping them with cloth, her touch a balm. You tease her that you're tougher than a gladiator. But she rolls her eyes, saying gladiators don't smell like resin. Your savings grow, enough for a modest ring, perhaps, and you dream of a wedding, simple but yours. The city's pulse thrums through you, fountains splashing, pipes humming, leaks waiting. You're independent, but not alone. Gaia stops by sometimes, grumbling advice, and your family's pride swells with each coin you bring. As weeks blend, you tackle more, a series of leaks in a row of homes after a minor quake shakes the ground. You work dawn to dusk, patching and sealing, your hammer a steady beat. One owner, a storyteller, pays with tales of ancient plumbers who built the Cloaca Maxima, that massive sewer draining the forum since Tarquin's days. You listen, munching his offered figs, and quip that if they had your resin, it'd still be leak-free. He chuckles, and you move on, the Sabura's modest abodes blurring into a tapestry of fixes. Livia meets you after, her basket empty, and you share a quiet meal under the stars. The fountains drip a gentle underscore. You're carving your niche, one pipe at a time, the journeyman life suiting you like a well-fitted tunic. Section 11. You're 26 now, your hands callous maps of a plumber's life. Your stride confident through the Sabura's muddy alleys where water still leaks from every other pipe. Roam's a living beast around you, its breath the steam of bathhouses, its pulse the gurgle of fountains, its temper the roar of crowds in the forum. You're a journeyman plumber with a solid name, fixing leaks for shopkeepers and families, but love's got you tangled tighter than a knotted drain. Livia, your olive-selling muse, is no longer just a market crush. She's your future, her laughter the sweetest sound in this gritty city. Today, though, love and water collide in a way you didn't see coming, under sky that's about to pour. It's a rainy morning, the kind where the Sabura's cobblestones turn slick as eel skin, and you're called to a potter's workshop, Livia's father's, no less. A pipe's leaking, flooding his clay stores, and he's grumbling louder than the thunder overhead. You arrive soaked, your tunic clinging like a second skin, and Livia's there, her dark curls damp but her smile bright as you set to work. The pipe's a mess, cracked from years of strain, and you crawl under the workbench, dodging clay shards to cut and replace it. Your hammer's steady, sealing the new lead tube with resin. Remember that sage-burning nonsense Gaia's mocked, and the water stops pooling. Livia's father nods, grudgingly impressed, and you catch Livia's eye, her look saying more than words. As you leave, she slips you an olive, whispering, "My hero," and you grin, heart pounding like a festival drum. Rome's water system is a marvel you know intimately now. By Trajan's reign, it's feeding over 1,000 fountains and baths, a feat historians call unmatched in the ancient world. But rain like today's tests it, clogging drains and bursting old pipes. You're learning quirky fixes. Some plumbers swear by packing mud around outdoor joints to shield them from wet seasons. You try it. Fingers caked. And it holds, though you mutter to yourself that mud's a poor man's resin. The rain keeps falling, turning streets to rivers, and you're out again, fixing a spout near Livia's stall. She's there, sheltered under a tarp, her olives glistening. You pause to talk, rain dripping off your nose, and she teases you for looking like a drowned rat. You retort that rats swim better than potters, and her laugh lights up the gloom. Love's blooming, but it's not all sweet olives. Livia's father's warming to you, thanks to your free fixes, but he's vocal about wanting a better match, someone with a shop or land. You're saving every denarius, your clay jar nearly full, but Rome's cost not your dreams. Your mother's health is slipping, her hands shaky from years of weaving, and your sister, 13 now, helps Livia at the market, her chatter about pipes echoing your own youth. You're the family's anchor, your plumbing jobs buying medicine and bread, but Livia's your compass, pointing to a life beyond survival. You talk of marriage by the dolphin fountain. Remember that kid splashing there? And she dreams of a small house, maybe a garden. You promise her a private spout, joking you'll carve like a love poem, and she rolls her eyes but squeezes your hand. The Sabura's dangers don't care about romance. A flooded alley nearly sweeps you off your feet, and you hear a fever spiking after heavy rains. Bad drains, bad water. Historians still argue whether Rome's aqueducts spread disease or saved lives, with some blaming stagnant pools of malaria, while others say constant flow kept the city clean. You're cautious, boiling water for your family and cleaning tools with vinegar, but you can't dodge the rain. A job takes you to a tenement where a pipe's burst, soaking a family's bedding. You fix it fast, your hands deft, and the mother offers a prayer to Juno for you, her gratitude warmer than the soggy air. You slip her a coin for new straw, feeling the pinch but knowing it's right. Mistakes still splash you. You rush a repair in the rain, misjudging a pipe's angle, and water sprays a fruit vendor's stall, ruining his pears. He curses you out, docking your pay, and you trudge home, muttering that even Neptune couldn't fix Rome in a storm. Livia finds you later, drying your hair with her scarf, and you laugh, saying you're leakier than the Sabura. She kisses you, rain mixed with her warmth, and the world feels fixable again. You're mapping Rome's pipes in your head now, each job a lesson in pressure and flow, and you dream of bigger gigs, public fountains, maybe a bathhouse contract. Gaius, now a gruff mentor more than boss, nods when you tell him, saying, "You're not half bad, Rat." It's his highest praise. Nights find you with Livia when the rain slows, huddled by a fountain as she talks of her day. Market gossip, a rude senator, her father's softening heart. You share a crust of bread, the Sabura's din fading, and plan a future where water flows clean and love doesn't leak. The rain's a challenge, but so's Rome, and you're learning to navigate both one pipe, one kiss at a time. Your savings are close to enough for a ring, and you sketch its shape in the mud. Livia's giggle your reward. The Sabura is still a muddy cage, but with her, it's a world you're ready to conquer, rain or shine. Section 12. You're 27 now, your hands scarred and steady, a plumber who knows Rome's pipes better than the lines of your own palms. The Sabura is still your home. Its alleys a chaos of shouts, smells, and the relentless drip of water from fountains and leaks. You're a journeyman with a name that carries weight. Shopkeepers call you for fixes, and your coin jar is heavy enough to dream of a life with Livia. Today is a day you plan for months. Your wedding to her, a simple affair in Sabura's heart, but a burst pipe threatens to wash it all away. Rome's never gentle, and even love comes with a splash of trouble. But you're ready to hammer this day into something unforgettable. The morning's bright, the air thick with the scent of baking bread and wet stone as you head to a small courtyard near the Dolphin Fountain. Yep, that one you splashed in as a kid. You've saved for a modest ceremony. A few friends, your family, Livia's kin, and a priest to mutter blessings to Juno. Your tunic's new, a rare expense, and Livia's in a woven veil her mother made, her eyes catching the sun as she smiles. The Sabura is alive around you. Kids chase dogs, vendors hawk figs, and water gurgles in the background, a sound that's been your lullaby and your trade. You're halfway through vows, the priest droning about fidelity, when a shout cuts through. Flood! A pipes burst in a nearby insula, water gushing into the street. Heading straight for your courtyard. Rome's water system, with its 11 aqueducts feeding 1,000,000 souls, is a marvel historians praise for its scale, but right now, it's your wedding's uninvited guest. You sprint to the leak, tools still in your sack from habit. Livia laughing and cursing behind you as she hitches her veil. The pipe's old, lead splitting like overripe fruit, and water's pooling fast, soaking the sandals of your guests. You dive in, chiseling the break while Gaius, gruff as ever but here for wine, tosses you a roll of lead. You shape a new tube, hammer it shut, and seal with resin, your hands moving like they're possessed. The water slows and stops, and the crowd cheers, your sister clapping loudest. Livia grabs your arm, call you her damp hero, and you quip that Neptune's jealous of your skills. The priest, soggy but amused, picks up where he left off, and you're wed under a dripping sky. The Sabura's chaos your wedding song. The feast is simple, bread, olives, watered wine, but it's yours. Livia's father, the potter, finally nods approval, his gruff, not bad plumber, worth more than coin. You learn a quirky wedding custom. Some Sabura folk tie clay beads of pipes for marital luck, believing it keeps water and love flowing. You find one on the fixed pipe later, Livia's handiwork, and you grin, tucking it into your pouch. The day's not all smooth, though. Your mother's frail, her cough echoing your father's old one, and you slip her extra wine to ease her nerves. Your sister, 14 now, dances with Livia's cousins, her laughter a bright note in the din. But the floods left mud everywhere, and you're sweeping away as guests leave, Livia at your side, joking that your marriage is sealed tighter than a lead joint. Life's pressures don't pause for love. Your new home's a cramped room in the same insula, a step up from your mother's but still damp and dim. You're supporting Livia now, plus your family, and every job counts. The Sabura's dangers linger. Thieves prowl wet nights, and you hear a fever spiking after the flood, bad water blamed again. Historians still argue whether Rome's aqueducts spread disease or flushed it away, with some pointing to poor drainage for outbreaks, while others credit the system's flow for keeping the city livable. You're cautious, boiling water and teaching Livia to do the same, though she teases you for fussing like an old matron. Your tools stay clean with vinegar, a habit Gaius drilled into you, and you avoid the Sabura's murkier fountains. Work calls the next day, a baker's drain clogged with grease, and, weirdly, a broken sandal. You clear it, earning a loaf and a story about a rival baker sabotaging pipes. You laugh, saying Rome's feuds flow deeper than the Tiber, and pocket the bread for Livia. Your reputation's growing, but so's the grind. A botched job at a tanner's, rushing in the post-wedding haze, leaves a pipe leaking, and you redo it free, muttering about honeymoon leaks. Livia finds it hilarious, kissing your sweaty forehead, and you feel the weight lift. You're mapping Rome's pipes in your mind, dreaming of bigger contracts, maybe a public fountain or a bathhouse gig. Gaius stops by, half drunk, and claps your back, saying, "Married and mending, don't mess it up, rat." You smirk, knowing he's proud. Nights are Livia's now, her warmth beside you on the straw mattress. The fountains drip outside your window, a steady pulse. You talk of kids, a shop, a life where water flows clean, and Sabura is just a memory. She sketches clay designs for her father's pots. You sketch pipe layouts, and you laugh about building a fountain shaped like an olive. The burst pipe at your wedding's a story you'll tell forever. How you saved the day. How Livia laughed through the mud. Rome's a hard city, but with her, it's softer. The leak's less daunting. You're a plumber, a husband, a Sabura man with a ring on Livia's finger, and a dream in your heart, hammering forward one pipe at a time. Section 13. You're 28 now. Your hands as familiar with a hammer as with Livia's touch. Your days a blur of pipes and promises in the Sabura's sweaty embrace. Rome hums around you. Its streets alive with the clatter of carts, the shouts of hawkers, and the ceaseless trickle of water through fountains and drains. You're a journeyman plumber with a solid name. But now you're a father too, pacing outside your cramped insel room as Livia labors within, the air thick with summer heat and worry. The Sabura's no place for a newborn, with its dank corners and fevered whispers, but it's home, and you're determined to make it work. Water's still your trade, but family's your anchor, and today, the two feel more tangled than ever. You spend the morning outside, useless to Livia's midwife, but too anxious to work. The insula's courtyard is a mess. Puddles from a recent rain, kids splashing, and a fountain spitting fitfully, its pipe half clogged. You tinker with it to calm your nerves, scraping out muck and a stray coin, probably tossed for luck. Rome's water system, by Trajan's time, feeds over 1 million people through a network historians call Marvel, miles of aqueducts and pipes keeping the city alive. But here, it's personal. That fountain's water is what Livia will use to wash your child, and you want it clean. You seal the pipe with resin, a trick Gaius taught you. Remembers gruff lessons? And the flow steadies, a small win against the day's weight. Livia's cries echo through the thin walls, and you pace, muttering prayers to Juno and Neptune, the latter a plumber's half-joke. Your mother's there, frail but steady, holding Livia's hand, while your sister, 15 and all grown up, fetches water and rags. The midwife finally calls you in at dusk, and there's Livia, exhausted but glowing, cradling a tiny boy with your eyes and her stubborn chin. You name him Marcus, after a grandfather you barely knew, and hold him, his warmth a shock against your calloused hands. The Sabura's noise fades, the vendors, the dogs, the dripping fountain. And for a moment, it's just you three, a new world in a cramped room. Life shifts fast. You're back to work the next day, fixing a leak at a baker's, your mind half on Marcus's tiny fists. The job's routine, cut, shape, seal, but you botch a joint distracted and water sprays, soaking a sack of flour. The baker curses, docking your pay, and you quip that your son's already costing you coin, earning a grudging laugh. You redo the fix, hand steadier, and pocket a small loaf for Livia. You've learned a quirky trick from a fellow plumber. Some mix ash into resin for a stronger seal, claiming it binds like the gods will. You try it, coughing through the dust, and it holds, though you mutter to yourself that plain resin's less trouble. The Sabura's dangers loom larger now. Fevers creep through the inslee, and you're paranoid about Marcus, boiling water twice and checking every fountain for murk. Historians still argue whether Rome's aqueducts spread disease or saved lives, with some blaming stagnant drain for outbreaks, while others credit the constant flow for flushing filth. You side with caution, teaching Livia to strain water through cloth, a habit she teases as plumbers fuss. You're supporting three now, for with your mother, whose cough worsens, and your sister's market work barely dents the bills. Your coin jar's still heavy, but a kid means new costs. Cloths, herbs, a cradle you barter for with a free pipe fix. Work's relentless. You fix a tanner's drain, clogged with hide scraps, and, oddly, A clay doll some kid must have dropped. You fish it out, thinking of Marcus, and the tanner pays with a leather strap you'll use for your tools. Another job's at a widow's home, where a roof pipe's leaking, soaking her loom. You seal it with ash mixed resin, and she offers a prayer and a worn shawl, which you bring to Livia for Marcus. Your reputation holds. Folks call you for quick, honest work, but the grind's heavy with a family. You dream of a bigger place, maybe outside the Sabura, with a private spout for Marcus to splash in. Livia laughs when you tell her, saying you'll build a fountain shaped like a baby's fist. The city's no kinder to fathers. A street brawl nearly catches you, knives flashing over some dice game, and you dodge into an alley, heart pounding for Marcus's sake. Another day. A collapsed scaffold near the forum reminds you of Plumber crushed last year, and you double-check every ladder. Gaius stops by, grizzled and proud, bringing a tiny clay pipe for Marcus. Start him early, Rat. You laugh, but the gift's a reminder. Plumbing's your legacy, risky but yours. You tell Livia stories of your fixes, exaggerating a clog into a sewer beast. And she rolls her eyes, cradling Marcus. Nights are softer now, his gurgles blending with the fountain's drip outside, a rhythm you love more than any coin. But fatherhood's leaks show. You miss a job deadline, fretting over Marcus's first fever, and lose a client to a rival. You curse yourself, but Livia soothes you, her hand on yours, saying babies are tougher than pipes. You push on, fixing a row of tenement leaks after storm, your hammer a steady beat. The Sabura is still a cage, but Marcus and Livia are your key, their faces lighting the dimmest corners. You're a plumber, a husband, a father, juggling water and worry. Each job a step toward a life where your son won't know the Sabura's mud. You're 30 now, your hands etched with scars from a decade of wrestling Rome's pipes. Your life a tight knot of family, work, and the Sabura's relentless churn. The city's a living thing around you. Its breath the steam of forges, its veins the gurgling aqueducts, its temper the shouts of hawkers and drunks. You're a journeyman plumber with a name that opens doors, and you've teamed up with a friend, Decimus, to bid on bigger jobs, public fountains, the kind that splash in Rome's grand squares. Your world's grown with Marcus, your toddling son, and Livia, your rock. But Sabura is still a muddy cage, and you're itching to break free. Today, you're chasing a contract that could change everything one pipe at a time. Morning finds you at the forum, where the air's thick with dust and ambition. You and Decimus, a wiry plumber with a knack for numbers, are pitching to maintain a row of public fountains near the Temple of Vesta. The official, a bored clerk with ink-stained fingers, eyes your pitch, sketches of pipe layouts, cost estimates scratched on wax tablets. You spent weeks planning, your nights filled with Livia's encouragement and Marcus's babbling. Rome's fountains, over 700 by Trajan's reign, are the city's lifeblood, a fact historians praise for keeping 1 million souls hydrated. You talk up your fixes, fast, clean, no skimping on lead, and Decimus crunches numbers, promising savings. The clerk nods, unimpressed but listening, and you leave with a flicker of hope, your heart pounding like a hammer on lead. Back in the Sabura, you're still fixing small jobs to pay the bills. A baker's pipe is clogged with dough and, quirkily enough, a bird's nest stuffed in by some kid's prank. You clear it, joking with the baker that you're saving his bread from a feathered invasion, and he pays with a warm loaf from Marcus. Your family's your drive now. Livia tend the insula, her potter father retired, while your mother's cough worsens, her frame frail as straw. Your sister, 16, sells olives with Livia, her wit sharper than ever. You're supporting them all, your coin jar drained faster than a crack pipe, a new trick circling among plumbers. Mixing lime into clay seals for durability, a gritty pace you test on a tenement job. It holds, though it cakes your hands, and you mutter to Decimus that it's like plastering a wall. The The Sabura's dangers never sleep. A fever's creeping through the insula again, and you're paranoid about Marcus, now too, his chubby legs splashing in puddles you wish were cleaner. Historians still argue whether Rome's aqueduct spread disease or flushed it away, with some blaming poor drainage for outbreaks, while others say the flow kept the city livable. You boil water religiously, teaching Marcus to avoid murky fountains, and Livia teases you for acting like a healer. You grin, saying healers don't smell like resin, and she kisses you, her warmth easing the day's grind. Wort's a gamble too. A collapsed drain in a tanner's yard nearly traps you, mud sucking at your knees, and you escape with a racing heart, vowing to check supports twice. The fountain contract's a long shot, but you and Decimus hustle. You fix a public spout near the forum to show your skill, unclogging a pipe stuffed with coins and leaves. Offerings for luck? You guess. You pocket a stray sestertius, joking to Decimus that Neptune owes you a bonus. Days blur into repairs and pitches. Your sketch is sharper, your bid's bolder. You visit a patrician's villa for a private job, awed by its marble fountain, but stung by the owner's sneer at your Sabura accent. You fix his pipe, take his coin, and mutter to Livia later that you'll have a better spout someday. She laughs, saying Marcus will build it, and you picture your son, hammer in hand, grinning. Mistakes still sting. You rush a seal on a market fountain, distracted by contract dreams, and it leaks, spraying a vendor's figs. He curses you out, and you redo it free, grumbling that Rome's thirstier than a gladiator. Decimus laughs, saying you're leakier than your pipes, but he helps, his calm balancing your fire. Gaius drops by, older and slower, and nods at your ambition, warning, "Big jobs, big risks, rat." You nod, knowing he's right, but the dream's too close to quit. You're mapping Rome's water in your head, fountains, drains, aqueducts, each job a lesson in flow. Livia listens to your plans at night, Marcus asleep between you, and she whispers you'll win the contract, her faith stronger than lead. The Sabura's a grind, but family keeps you steady. You teach Marcus to toss pebbles, not coins, into fountains, laughing when he mimics your hammer swings. Your mother's fading, and you slip her herbs, praying they help. Nights are soft, Livia's stories of market antics blending with the fountain's drip outside, a rhythm you love. The contract verdict looms, but win or lose, you're a plumber with a family, a partner in Decimus, and a shot at more. The Sabura's mud clings, but you're rising one bid, one pipe, one dream at a time. You're 32 now, your hands a patchwork of scars from years of bending Rome's pipes to your will. Your life a dance of grit and hope in the Sabura's restless heart. The city thrums around you, its streets alive with the clatter of wheels, the curses of hawkers, and the steady gurgle of water through fountains you've come to know like family. You and Decimus landed that fountain contract 2 years back, and now you're a crew leader fixing public spouts across Rome squares. But today's no ordinary job. You're headed to the Aqua Appia, one of Rome's ancient aqueducts, for your first repair on the city's grandest waterworks. It's a chance to climb higher, but the heights and hazards of the job make your stomach churn, like standing on the edge of the Sabura's tallest insula. Dawn breaks over Rome, the sky pink as you trek to the aqueduct's maintenance site, tools slung over your shoulder and Decimus at your side, cracking jokes to ease the nerves. The Aqua Appia, built over 300 years ago, stretches miles from rural springs to the city's edge, its stone arches looming like giants. Historians praise it as Rome's first aqueduct, a marvel that set the stage for the empire's water system, feeding baths and fountains for 1 million souls. You're tasked with patching a cracked channel high on an arch, where water's seeping, weakening the stone. The crew's a mix of veterans and green hands, and you're leading, your voice steady despite the wind tugging at your tunic as you climb a rickety scaffold. Heights aren't your friend. Remember that scaffold collapse you dodged years ago, But you grit your teeth, Livia's faith in you a quiet anchor. You reach the crack, a jagged scar in the stone, water trickling like a wound. You chip away loose mortar, mixing lime and clay. Remember that durable seal trick. And pack it tight, your hands steady despite the dizzying drop below. Decimus hands you tools, his banter about not falling for glory making you smirk. You learn a quirky habit up here. Some aqueduct workers carve their initials into the stone, claiming it for luck, though you suspect it's just bragging. You scratch a quick M for Marcus, your son, now for, and finish the patch, the water slowing to a drip. The crew cheers, and you climb down, legs shaky but pride swelling like the Tiber in spring. The Sabura is still home, its alleys a maze of mud and noise. Livia tends Marcus, who's all energy, chasing pigeons and mimicking your hammer swings. Your mother's gone now, her cough claiming her last winter, and your sister, a teen, runs a small stall with Livia, selling pots and olives. You're the family's rock, your fountain contracts paying for a slightly bigger room, though still damp and cramped. The aqueduct job's a step up, better coin, bigger risks. You're cautious, boiling water for Marcus and teaching him to avoid murky spouts, wary of the fevers that haunt the insulae. Historians still argue whether aqueducts like the Appius spread disease or flushed it away, with some blaming leaks for stagnant pools, while others credit their flow for Rome's health. You side with vigilance, cleaning tools with vinegar and praying to Neptune for clean streams. Dangers loom larger on these jobs. The scaffold sways in the wind, and you hear of a worker falling last month, his screams echoing in your dreams. A ground job in the Sabura feels safer. A clogged fountain near the forum, stuffed with coins and, oddly, a clay lamp, probably some lovesick offering. You clear it, joking to Decimus that you're Rome's unofficial priest of lost trinkets, and pocket a cestushes from Marcus's toy fund. But the aqueduct's pull is strong. Its arch is a challenge you can't resist. You sketch its channels at night, Livia teasing you for courting stone over her, and you retort that stone pays better than olives, earning her laugh. Mistakes sting up high. You misjudge a crack's depth on the aqueduct, and your patch leaks, forcing a redo under the foreman's glare. You curse yourself, muttering that even Neptune naps sometimes. But fix it clean. The crews respect hard-won. Gaius visits, grayer now, and nods at your aqueduct tales, warning, big jobs, eat big man rat. You nod, knowing the risk, but the coin's good and Marcus's smile when you bring home a carved wooden horse is worth it. Livia listens to your stories, her hand on yours, and you talk of moving uphill away from the Sabura's mud, maybe near the Esquiline where the air's cleaner. Nights are softer, Marcus's chatter blending with the fountain's drip outside, a rhythm you love. You tell him tales of aqueducts, making them sound like dragons you tame, and he giggles, swinging a stick like a hammer. The Sabura is still a cage, but the aqueduct job's a ladder, each repair a rung toward a better life. You're a plumber, a father, a crew leader, balancing heights and hopes, with Livia and Marcus grounding you like a well-sealed pipe. Rome's water flows through you, and you're ready for its next challenge, scaffold or not. You're 34 now, your shoulders broad from years of hauling lead. Your hands a map of scars that tell the story of Rome's pipes. The city's a restless beast, its streets pulsing with the shouts of vendors, the clatter of chariot wheels, and the ever-present gurgle of water through aqueducts and fountains. You're a respected plumber, leading crews on public fountain repairs and the occasional aqueduct job, but today you're stepping into the big leagues. A contract to work on Trajan's baths, a sprawling complex of marble and steam that's the talk of Rome. It's a chance to etch your name into the empire's heart, but the scale of the job, pipes thicker than your thigh, crowds of workers, and the emperor's shadow looming, makes your palms sweat like a Sabura summer. You wake at dawn, the Sabura's damp air clinging to your skin as you kiss Livia and Marcus, now 6 and full of questions, before heading to the bathhouse site on the Oppian Hill. The baths are a marvel, still under construction, with arches rising like stone giants and mosaics gleaming in the morning light. Your job's to lay lead pipes to the hot pools, channeling water from the Aqua Triana, Trajan's newest aqueduct, finished just last year. Historians later call it a pinnacle of Roman engineering, feeding baths and fountains with crystal clear water from distant lakes. You're awed by the scale. Pipes wider than any you've seen, cranes heaving stone, and foremen barking orders in Latin and Greek. You're leading a small crew, including Decimus, who's whistling nervously as you haul lead sheets heavier than a full amphora. The work's brutal. You measure and cut pipes, your hammer ringing against lead, while sweat stings your eyes in the heat. The pipes must snake through underground channels, feeding pools where Rome's elite will soak. You seal joints with resin and a touch of lime. Remember that gritty trick? But the pressure's high, and a single leak could flood a chamber. You learn a quirky habit from an old worker. Some burn laurel leaves near pipes, claiming it wards off cracks. You try it, coughing through the smoke, and mutter to Decimus that it's more likely to ward off your lunch. He laughs, saying you're pickier than a senator's wife, and you retort that senators don't know a hammer from a hairpin. The baths are a world apart from the Subura's grime. You glimpse patricians inspecting the site, their togas blinding white, and feel the class divide sharper than ever. Your muddy tunic marks you as labor, not lord. Yet the coin's good, and you're saving for a better home, maybe on the Esquiline, away from Subura's fevers. Marcus is your drive, his chatter about Papa's big pipes making you grin, while Livia keeps the insula running, her olive trade steady. Your sister, now 20, helps her, but she's courting a baker, hinting at leaving your cramped household. The Subura's dangers linger. Thieves prowl, and a fever spiked again, worrying you from Marcus. Historians still argue whether Trajan's aqueducts improved health or spread disease, with some blaming poor drainage for outbreaks, while others praise the fresh flow. You boil water religiously, teaching Marcus to sip only what's clear. The job's risks are real. A crane swings too close, nearly dropping a stone slab, and you shove Decimus out of the way, heart pounding. Another day, a pipe burst during testing, spraying you and the crew, and you scramble to patch it, cursing under the Emperor's banners. You botch a joint once, distracted by Marcus's recent cough, and water leaks, earning a foreman's wrath. You redo it, muttering that even Trajan's pipes can't handle a father's worry, and Decimus chuckles, saying you're leakier than the Subura. Gaius visits the site, grizzled and limping, and nods at your work, warning, "Big baths, bigger trouble rat." You laugh, but his words stick, glory's heavy as lead. You push through, laying pipes with precision, your crew tight under your lead. You find a stray bronze pin in a channel. Some workers' love token, maybe, and pocket it from Marcus, joking to Decimus that you're collecting Rome's secrets. Nights find you home late. Livia waiting with bread and a tired smile. Marcus asleep with a wooden horse you carved. You tell her about the bath's grandeur, promising a visit when they open, and she teases you'll sneak a dip in the Emperor's pool. You retort that you'd rather build her one, shaped like an olive, and her laugh eases a day's ache. The Subura's fountain drones outside, its drip a steady pulse, and you dream of the bath's completion, your name tied to Trajan's legacy. The contract's a grind, but it's lifting you. You're saving more, sketching a new home's layout in the dirt, Livia nodding as you plan a private spout. Mistakes linger. A mismeasured pipe costs a day's work, but you fix them, your hammer sure each time. The Subura is still a cage, but Trajan's baths are a window, showing you Rome's heights. You're a plumber, a father, a man with foot in two worlds, balancing marble dreams and muddy roots, one pipe at a time. You're 36 now, your hands a ledger calluses and burns, your life a tight weave of pipes, family and the Subura's gritty pulse. roams a restless giant around you, its streets alive with the clatter of looms, the cries of street prophets, and the endless gurgle of water through the city's veins. You're a plumber of note, leading crews on fountain repairs and Trajan's baths, your name whispered from Inslee to villas. But fatherhood's your heart now. Marcus, 8 in all limbs, trails you like a shadow, while Livia keeps your world steady. Today, you're juggling jobs and home, racing between a leaking tenement and Marcus's bedtime, the Sabura's chaos threatening to spill over both. Mornings start with a call to a tenement near the Viminal, where a pipes burst, soaking a family's straw beds. You grab your tools, hammer, chisel lead rolls, and wade in, the air thick with mildew and curses. The pipe's old, its lead brittle, and you cut it clean, shaping a new tube while the tenant hover, anxious. You seal with resin and lime. Remember that durable trick? And the water stills, earning you a weary thanks and a copper as. Rome's water system, feeding a million souls through aqueducts like the Aqua Triana, is a marvel historians praise for its scale. But down here, it's a daily wrestle with decay. You find a quirky clog in the drain, a clay figurine, likely a child's toy, stuffed in tight. You fish it out, thinking of Marcus, and joke to mother that you're saving Rome from tiny invaders. She smiles, offering a crust of bread, and you pocket it for your son. Fatherhood's reshaped you. Marcus mimics your hammer swings, begging to fix pipes when you're home. You let him hold a chisel once, his grin brighter than the forum's marble, but Livia scolds you, saying he's too young for lead fumes. She's right. Your hands bear the scars of that poison, and you're strict about boiling water, wary of the fevers that haunt the Sabura. Historians still argue whether Rome's aqueducts spread disease or saved lives, with some blaming stagnant drains of malaria, while others credit their flow for flushing filth. You side with caution, teaching Marcus to drink only what's clear, though he splashes in every puddle, laughing like he did at his age. Remember that dolphin fountain? Work pulls you late. A patrician's villa needs a private spout fixed, its owner impatient, his toga crisp as your tunic's muddy. You patch the pipe, awed by the garden's mosaic fish, but his Kirk coin toss stings. Class divides cut deeper than chisels. You're saving for a better home, maybe on the Celian Hill, where the air's less damp for Marcus. Livia's olive trade keeps you fed, and your sister, now married to that baker, sends loaves when she can. But money's tight. Your coin jar's heavy, but Marcus's shoes wear fast, and Livia's hinting at another child. You dream of a shop, a place to teach Marcus to trade. But Rome's costs are a hydra, sprouting new heads with every denarius spent. The Sabura's dangers don't sleep. A night job near a tavern turns dicey when a brawl spills out, knives glinting in torchlight. You dodge a drunk swing, your heart pounding for Marcus and Livia, and finish the repair, a clogged drain stuffed with grape skins, before slipping away. Another day, a scaffold wobbles on a fountain job, reminding you of that aqueduct scare. Remember the wind tugging your tunic? You double-check every rung, muttering to yourself that you're too stubborn to fall. Mistakes hit hard, too. You misjudge a pipe's pressure at Butcher's, spraying blood-tinged water, and he docks your pay, growling about ruined meat. You redo it, joking to Decimus that you're washing Rome's sins, but the loss bites. Coin you meant from Marcus's cloak. Nights are your refuge. You stumble home, bone-tired, to find Marcus waiting, his questions about pipes endless. You spin a tale of wrestling as sewer serpent, and he giggles, swinging a stick like a hammer. Livia joins in, teasing that you smell worse than Cloaca Maxima, and you retort that's the scent of victory. You've learned a quirky habit from her. She ties a ribbon to your tool sack for luck, claiming it's Sabura magic. You laugh but keep it, a splash of color in your gritty world. Gaius visits, slower now, and watches Marcus with a rare smile, saying, "He's got your hands, rat." You nod, pride swelling, and dream of teaching your son the trade, though Olivia and Sissy learn letters too. Work and family tangle tighter. A late call pulls you to a flooded insula, the tenants frantic, and you miss Marcus's bedtime story, guilt gnawing as you patch the pipe. Olivia soothes you later, her hand on yours, saying you're building a future, not just fixing leaks. You sketch pipe layouts by lamplight, Marcus asleep beside you, and plan a home with a private spout, maybe a tiny fountain for him to splash in. The Sabura's fountain drones outside, its drip a steady pulse, and you feel Rome's weight, its water, its risks, its dreams. You're a plumber, a father, a man balancing love and labor. Each job a step toward a life where Marcus runs free of the Sabura's mud. You're 38 now, your hair flecked with gray from years of wrestling Rome's pipes. Your hands a map of scars that tell tales of leaks and lead. The Sabura is still your world. Its alleys choked with smoke, shouts, and the endless drip of water from fountains you've patched 100 times. You're a plumber of renown, leading crews on public fountains and Trajan's baths. But shadows creeping over Rome, a plague, whispered in markets and insulae, carried by bad water or bad air. You're juggling jobs and fear, your heart heavy for Marcus, now 10, and Livia, who's pregnant again, her belly rounding under her tunic. Today, you're fixing a fountain while dread pools like floodwater. The Sabura's pulse feeling more like a warning than a comfort. Morning breaks grim, the air thick with the Tiber's damp and a faint stench of decay. You're at a public fountain near the Forum. Its spout sluggish, clogged with silt and, quirkily enough, a handful of wilted flowers, likely an offering gone wrong. You clear it, your hammer steady, but your eyes scan the crowd for signs of sickness, sunken cheeks, glassy stares. Rome's aqueducts, feeding 1 million souls with over 1 billion liters daily, are a marvel historians praise, but they're no shield against disease. You've seen fevers before, but this one's different. Whole families falling ill, and whispers blame the water. You boil every drop for Marcus and Livia, your paranoia sharper than a chisel, and clean your tools with vinegar, a habit Gaius drilled into you. Remembers gruff lessons? The fountain job's routine, but your mind's on home. Marcus trails you sometimes, his questions about pipes endless, but you've kept him away since the plague talk started. Livia's due soon, and you're haunted by your mother's cough, your father's too, both gone to fevers years back. Historians still argue whether Rome's water system spread disease or saved lives, with some pointing to stagnant drains as plague breeders, while others say the aqueduct's flow kept the city clean. You side with suspicion, checking every spout you fix for murk, teaching Marcus to sip only boiled water. A tenant at the fountain job begs you to check her insula's pipe, fearing it's cursed. You find a crack, sealed with lime and resin, and slip her a coin for herbs, your heart twisting for her sick child. Work's relentless, plague or not. You and Decimus tackle a tenement leak, water soaking a weaver's loom, and find the pipe stuffed with, oddly, a clay amulet, probably a desperate charm against illness. You clear it, joking to Decimus that you're Rome's exorcist now. But the humor's thin. The Sabura's dangers feel sharper. A thief tries for your coin pouch, and you scare him off with a flash of your knife, heart pounding for Livia and the baby. Another day, a flooded alley nearly sweeps you into a cart, and you curse Rome's rains, muttering that even Neptune's got a grudge. Your crew's nervous too, workers whispering of friends' loss of fever, their hands shaky on scaffolds. You steady them, but fear gnaws at you, a leak you can't patch. Home's your refuge, but it's strained. Livia's tired, her pregnancy heavy, and Marcus senses attention, his chatter quieter. You carve him a wooden boat to sail in puddles, promising clean ones, and he grins, calling you Captain Papa. Livia teases that you're fussier than a Vestal virgin, but her eyes are worried, scanning you for signs of sickness. You've moved to a slightly better insula. Still damp but less crowded, your fountain contracts buying a bit of space. Your sister, now raising her own child with a baker, sends bread, but you're stretched thin, saving for the new baby and medicine. A quirky habit spread among Sabura mothers. They tie red threads of fountain for health, claiming it wards off plague. You find one on your job, leave it, and mutter to yourself that you'd rather trust vinegar. Mistakes hit hard in plague times. You rush a seal on a market fountain, distracted by Livia's late pains, and it leaks, soaking a vendor's figs. He curses you out, and you redo it free, joking weakly that you're watering Rome's crops. Decimus helps, his calm steadying you, and Gaius, hobbling by, warns, "Fear's a worse poison than lead, rat." You nod, his words sinking in, and push on, fixing a row of pipes after a storm. Your hammer a steady beat. Nights find you with Livia, her hand on her belly, Marcus asleep with his boat. You tell stories of aqueducts, softening the plague's shadow, and promise a fountain for the new baby. Maybe shaped like a star, you joke, earning Livia's tired smile. The Sabura's fountain drones outside, its drip a tense rhythm, but Livia's warmth keeps you grounded. You're checking pipes twice now, boiling water thrice, praying to Juno for your family. The plague's a ghost you can't hammer away, but you're a plumber, a father, a husband, fighting Rome's chaos with every seal and every kiss. The Sabura's a cage, but your family's the key, and you're holding tight, one job, one hope at a time. You're 40 now. Your beard streaked with gray, your hands ledger scars from 2 decades of taming Rome's pipes. The Sabura is still your gritty home. Its alleys alive with the clatter of carts, the stench of tanners, and the ceaseless drip of water through fountains you've patched countless times. You're a plumber of renown, leading crews on public fountains and Trajan's baths. But you've carved a new path, supplying lead pipes for legion camps, a side hustle that takes you to the Empire's dusty edges. With Marcus, now 12, and little Claudia, your 2-year-old daughter, you're driven to provide, but the road's long, and Rome's dangers, plague, thieves, and the weight of ambition trail you like shadows. Morning finds you packing tools and pipe rolls, kissing Livia and the kids before joining a caravan headed to a legion camp near Ostia, Rome's port. The job's big, supplying pipes for a new fort's latrines and baths, feeding soldiers who guard the Empire sprawl. You and Decimus, your steady partner, ride with merchant, your cart rattling over ruts as Rome fade behind you. The legions rely on water as much as swords. Historians note that Roman camps had sophisticated plumbing, with aqueducts feeding baths even in frontier dust. You're hauling lead sheets, heavy as your dreams, to shape into pipes for men who'd rather fight than wash. The merchant shares a quirky tip. Soldiers sometimes bury coins under pipes for luck, hoping for clean water. You chuckle, saying you'll dig for treasure, and Decimus retorts you'd find more mud than gold. The camp's a sprawl of tents and ditches, the air thick with sweat and leather. You work fast, cutting and sealing pipes under the sun, your hammer ringing against lead. The centurion's gruff but fair, inspecting your joints and nodding when water flows clean. You find a clay amulet in the dirt, some soldier's charm, and pocket it for Claudia, joking to Decimus that it's your legion loot. The job's good coin, but the road's brutal. Dust coats your throat, and bandits lurk on trade routes. You sleep lightly, knife close, remembering Sabura thieves. Same game, bigger stakes. A fever's rumored in nearby villages, echoing the plague that haunted Rome. Remember Marcus's worried eyes? And you boil your water, wary of every sip. Back home, the Sabura's chaos waits. Livia tends Claudia, who's toddling and curious, while Marcus helps with small chores, his hands itching for a hammer. You've taught him to avoid murky fountains, a lesson born of plague fears. Historians still argue whether Rome's water system spread disease or flushed it away. with some blaming stagnant drains for fevers, while others praise aqueducts for their flow. You're cautious, boiling water and cleaning tools with vinegar, a habit Livia teases as plumber's paranoia. Your sister's family, now with 2 kids, sends bread, but your coin jar is stretched. Claudia's needs, Marcus's schooling, and Livia's herbs for a lingering cough keep you hustling. The Legion job's risks hit hard. A cart overturns on a return road, nearly crushing you, and you dodge it, heart pounding for your kids. Another day. A pipe bursts during testing, spraying you in Decimus, and you patch it fast, cursing under the Legion's banners. Mistakes sting. A mismeasured pipe delays the job, costing a day's pay, and you mutter to Decimus that even Mars can't measure straight. He laughs, saying you're grumpier than Gaius, who visits less now, his limp worse. Gaius sees your camp tales and nods, warning. Soldiers pay, but they break pipes faster than you fix rat. You smirk, knowing he's right, but the coin's worth it. A step toward a better home, maybe on the Celian, away from the Sabura's damp. Nights at home are soft. Claudia's giggles blending with the fountain's drip outside, a rhythm you cherish. You tell Marcus and Claudia stories of Legion camps, spinning pipes into water dragons you tame, and they laugh, Marcus sketching layouts like you did. Remember those dirt sketches? Livia listens, her cough worrying you, and you slip her herbs, praying they work. You picked up a quirky habit from the soldiers. Some tie leather strips to pipes for strength, claiming it's battle luck. You try it, grinning when Livia calls it nonsense, but it holds. The Sabura is still a cage, but the Legion jobs are a ladder, each pipe a rung toward a life where your kids breathe clean air. Work back in Rome mixes with camp coin. You fix a fountain near the Forum, clogged with coins and, oddly, a sandal, probably a drunk's offering. You clear it, joking to Decimus that you're Rome's garbage priest, and pocket a sestertius for Claudia's toy fund. Livia meets you after, her smile tired but warm, and you share bread under stars, planning a home with a private spout. The road's dangers linger, bandits, fevers, the grind, but you're a plumber, a father, a man stitching a future from lead and love, one journey, one seal at a time. You're 42 now, your hands a tapestry of scars, your back aching from decades of bending over Rome's pipes. The Sabura is still your gritty home, its alleys thick with the stench of tanners, the shouts of vendors, and the endless drip of water from fountains you've patched more times than you can count. You're a plumber of standing, leading crews on public fountains and Legion camps, your name known from the Forum to Ostia's dusty forts. But life's thrown you a new leak, a midlife crisis sparked by a flood that ruins the Sabura neighborhood you know like your own heartbeat. With Marcus, 14, and Claudia, for counting on you, and Livia's cough lingering, you're questioning your path, wondering if pipes are all you'll leave behind. It's a muggy dawn when you hear the flood. A pipe bursts near the old dolphin fountain. Remember splashing there as a kid? You rush over, tools slung, to find the Sabura's heart underwater. Home soaked, looms ruined, kids wading in muck. You dive in knee-deep with Decimus at your side, tracing the break to an ancient lead main, cracked like dry bone. You cut and seal a new pipe, your hammer heavy with doubt, but the water slows and weary families cheer. Rome's water system, feeding a million souls through aqueducts like the Aqua Triana, is a marvel historians praise. But today it feels like a beast you can't tame. You find a quirky clog in the pipe, a clay votive, likely a desperate offering to stop the flood. You pocket it, muttering to Decimus that the gods prefer dry altars, and he laughs, saying you're grumpier than Gaius. The flood hits hard. It's not just water. It's memories of your father's cough, your mother's frail hands, the Sabura's endless grind. You fixed this neighborhood's leaks since you were a boy, yet here it is, drowning. You question everything. The lead fumes you breathe, the coins you've saved, the dreams of a better home. Livia sees your mood, her eyes sharp to spider cough, and says you're leaking worse than the pipes. You try to laugh, joking that even Neptune's tired of you, but the doubt lingers. Historians still argue whether Rome's aqueducts were a public good or a poison gift, with some blaming lead pipes for madness and disease, while others say their flow kept Rome alive. You've always boiled water for Marcus and Claudia, but now you wonder the Subura's air itself is toxic. Work doesn't pause for soul-searching. You're called to patrician's villa, fixing a private spout while the owner complains about plebeian floods. You bite your tongue, sealing the pipe with lime and resin. Remember that durable trick? And take his coin, its weight cold against your doubts. Back in the Subura, you fix a baker's drain, clogged with dough and, oddly, a bronze ring, maybe a lost betrothal. You hand it back, joking you're saving marriages, not just pipes, and the baker's grin eases your mood. But the flood's damage lingers. Families displaced. Your sister's bakery hit hard. Her kid's hungry. You slip her coins, your jar lighter, and feel the Subura's weight heavier than ever. Home's your anchor, but it's strained. Marcus, lanky and curious, wants to join your crew, but you hesitate. Plumbing's risks leads poison. Keep you up at night. Claudia's a spark, chasing pigeons and demanding pipe stories, and you spin tales of aqueduct dragons. Her giggle's a bomb. Livia's cough worries you, her frame thinner, and you brew her herbs, praying they work. A quirky habit spread among Subura folk. Some tie blue beads to pipes for protection, claiming it wards off floods. You find one on a job, leave it, and mutter to yourself that beads won't fix Rome's cracks. Gaius, nearly retired, visits and sees your gloom, saying, "Pipes break, rat. So do men, keep hammering." His words sting, but they steady you. Dangers don't sleep. A flooded alley nearly pulls you under, and you escape, heart pounding for your kids. Another day, a thief tries for your tools, and you scare him off, knife flashing, muttering that Rome's greedier than the Tiber. Mistakes it too. You rush a fountain repair, distracted by doubts, and it leaks, soaking a vendor's figs. You redo it free, joking to Decimus that you're watering Rome's crops again, but the loss bites. Coin for Claudia's shoes. You push on, fixing tenement leaks, your hammer a steady beat. Nights find you with Livia, Marcus sketching pipes beside you, Claudia asleep with her clay doll, maybe like that votive you found. You're questioning, but not broken. You sketch a new home in the dirt. Celia Hill's still a dream, and Livia nods, coughing but hopeful. The flood's a wake-up call. You want more for your kids than Subura's mud. The Subura's fountain drones outside. It's drip a challenge, but your family's a spark keeping you going. You're a plumber, a father, a man staring down Rome's leaks, literal and not, determined to patch them one pipe, one choice at a time. You're 44 now, your joints creaking like the old lead pipes you spent a lifetime patching. Your beard more gray than brown. The Subura is still your world. Its alleys thick with the reek of fish stalls, the clamor of hawkers, and a relentless drip of water from fountains you know by heart. You're a plumber of note, leading crews on public fountains and legion camps, your name trusted from the forum to the empire's edges. But life's thrown a new wrench. Marcus, now 16, and Claudia, 6, are growing fast, and you're teaching them the trade, passing on tricks while navigating their teenage rebellions and your own doubts. The Subura is a cage, but your kids are the key, and today you're balancing fatherhood with stubborn pipe that's testing your patience. Morning starts in Subura's haze, the air heavy with smoke and summer sweat. You're at a tenement job, Marcus at your side, his hands eager but clumsy with a chisel. The pipes clog, grease hair, and quirkily enough, a clay dice some kid must have dropped. You show Marcus how to clear it, guiding his hammer to shape a new lead tube. Your voice calm despite his fumbled grip. Rome's water system. Feeding a million souls through aqueducts like the Aqua Triana is a marvel historians praise. But down here, it's a grind of clogs and cracks. You seal the pipe with resin and lime. Remember that durable trick? And the water flows clean, the tenants cheering. Marcus grins proud, but you catch his eye wandering to a passing girl and you smirk, remembering your own youth chasing Livia. Teaching Marcus is a dance of patience and pride. He's quick to learn but argues every step, insisting he could fix it faster without your old man rules. You laugh, say he'd flood the Sabura before supper, but his defiance stings, reminds you of yourself defying Gaius. Claudia's easier, trailing you with questions, her small hands clutching a toy hammer you carved. You let her help by holding tools, her chatter about pipe dragons lightening the day. Historians still argue whether Rome's lead pipes poisoned its people, with some blaming them for madness and sterility, while others say the water's flow diluted the risk. You're cautious, boiling water for your kids and warning Marcus off licking lead, though he rolls his eyes, calling you fussier than a priestess. Work's relentless, and family makes it heavier. Livia's cough lingers, her frame thin, and you brew her herbs nightly, fear gnawing at you. Your sister's family, across the Sabura, sends bread, but your coin jar is stretched. Marcus's tools, Claudia's shoes, and medicine drain it fast. A job at a baker's goes sour when Marcus misjudges a pipe's pressure, spraying dough and earning a curse from the owner. You redo it, docking his imaginary pay, joking that he's lucky you're not Gaius with Switch. He sulks, but you see his spark. Your spark, and know he'll learn. Decimus helps, his calm balancing Marcus's fire, and you're grateful for his steady hand on your crew. The Sabura's dangers don't pause for fatherhood. A night job near a tavern turns dicey when a brawl spills out, and you pull Marcus behind a cart, knives flashing in torchlight. Another day, a scaffold wobbles on a fountain repair, and you shove Claudia clear, heart pounding. Remember that aqueduct scare? You double-check every rung, muttering that Rome's out to test you. A quirky habit spread among Sabura kids. They tie colored stones to pipes for luck, claiming it talks to the water. You find one on a job, leave it for Claudia, and mutter to Marcus that stones won't fix leaks. He laughs, saying you're too serious, and you retort that serious keeps the Sabura dry. Home's your refuge, strained but warm. Livia stitches Marcus's torn tunic, teasing you for raising a pipe rebel, and you grin, saying he's got her stubborn chin. Nights find you telling Claudia tales of aqueducts, spinning them as water roads you built, while Marcus sketches pipe layouts, his defiance softening into focus. Gaius, nearly a ghost now, visits and watches Marcus hammer, nodding. He's your shadow rat. You swell with pride but worry. Plumbing's risks leads poison, the Sabura's fevers. You dream of a Celian home, cleaner air for Claudia, a shop for Marcus to learn without your scars. Livia nods, coughing, and you promise her a private spout, maybe shaped like her olives, earning her tired smile. Mistakes still bite. You rush a seal, distracted by Livia's health, and a fountain leaks, soaking a vendor's figs. You redo it free, joking to Decimus that you're Rome's unofficial gardener, but the loss stings. Coin for Livia's herbs. You push on, fixing tenement pipes, your hammer a steady beat. The Sabura's fountain drones outside, its drip a rhythm you love, but it's laced with worry now. You're a plumber, a father, a man teaching his kids to navigate Rome's leaks, literal and not, hoping they'll rise above the Sabura's mud, one lesson, one pipe at a time. You're 46 now, your body a map of aches from decades of bending lead and crawling through Rome's damp underbelly. The Sabura is still your gritty home, its alleys pulsing with the shouts of hawkers, the reek of tanners, and the endless drip of water from fountains you've patched since you were a boy. You're a plumber of renown, leading crews on public fountains and legion camps, but your world's tilting, Livia's cough has worsened, her frame frail as a reed, and you're nursing her through a health scare that chills you deeper than any sewer. Marcus, 18, and Claudia, 8, lean on you, and you're fighting to keep them safe while Rome's chaos swirls like a clogged drain. Morning finds you at home, brewing herbs for Livia in your cramped insular room, the air thick with the scent of mint and worry. She's been fading, her cough a wet rasp that echoes your parents. Remember their fevers? And you're haunted by the Sabura's plagues. You've sent Marcus and Claudia to your sister's bakery to keep them clear of sickness, but you're stuck, tending Livia while a fountain job waits. Rome's water system, feeding a million souls through aqueducts like the Aqua Triana, is a marvel historians praise, but its leaks breed fear. You boil every drop, a habit born of plague years, and pray to Juno, though you mutter to yourself that gods don't fix coughs. A quirky remedy circling the Sabura, some steep fennel in boiled water, claiming it clears lungs. You try it, the steam sharp, and Livia sips, her smile weak but grateful. You slip out for a quick job, a tenement pipe clogged with grease, and, oddly, a clay fish, likely a child's toy. You clear it, joking to Decimus that you're fishing for Neptune now, but your heart's with Livia. The tenant pays with a loaf, and you save it for Claudia, knowing she loves crusts. Historians still argue whether Rome's aqueducts spread disease or flushed it away, with some blaming stagnant drains for fevers like Livia's, while others credit their flow for keeping the city alive. You're cautious, cleaning tools with vinegar and avoiding murky fountains, but Livia's illness feels like a leak you can't patch. You slip her more herbs, her hand cold in yours, and whisper she'll be fine, though fear gnaws like a rat in the walls. Work's a grind you can't escape. Marcus joins you on jobs now, his hand steadier, but he's cocky, arguing your methods are old. You let him lead a fountain repair, watch him fumble a seal and water sprays, soaking a vendor's figs. You laugh, saying he's watering Rome's crops, but redo it, teaching him patience. Claudia tags along sometimes, her toy hammer swinging, and you let her help, her chatter about pipe dragons, easing your worry. A job at Patrician's villa stings. The owner sneers at your Sabura accent, but you fix his private spout, its mosaic fish mocking your fears. You pocket his coin, muttering you'll buy Livia better herbs than his wine. The Sabura's dangers don't pause for sickness. A night job near a tavern turns dicey when a drunk swings a knife, and you dodge, heart pounding for Livia and the kids. Another day. A scaffold wobbles on a fountain repair, and you pull Marcus clear, cursing Rome's rickety ways. Remember that aqueduct scare? You double-check every rung, muttering that you're too stubborn to fall. A quirky habit spread among Sabura healers. They tie white cloths to pipes near sick homes, claiming it purifies water. You find one on a job, leave it, and mutter to Decimus that cloth won't cure Livia. He nods, his calm steadying you, and you push on, fixing leaks with a heavy heart. Nights are tense. Livia's cough filling the insula as Marcus and Claudia sleep close. Their warmth your anchor. You tell them stories of aqueducts, spinning them as water roads you've walked, but your voice cracks. Fear slipping through. Gaius, frail now, visits and sees Livia's state, saying, "Pipes break, rap, but hearts hold." His words hit hard, and you nod, clinging to hope. You've saved for a Celian home, but Livia's health stalls it. Herbs and healers cost more than lead. Marcus sketches pipe layouts, his defiance softer now, and Claudia ties a ribbon to your tool's sack for luck, echoing Livia's old habit. Remember her Sabura magic? Mistakes sting in these dark days. You rush a seal, distracted by Livia's fever, and a pipe leaks, flooding a baker's floor. You redo it free, joking to Decimus that you're Rome's unofficial river, but the lost bites, coin for Livia's medicine. You push on, fixing tenement pipes, your hammer a steady beat against worry. The Sabura's fountain drones outside. its drip a tense rhythm, but Livia's faint smile keeps you going. You're a plumber, a father, a husband fighting Rome's leaks and fears, praying your love stronger than any fever, one herb, one pipe at a time. You're 48 now. Your hands gnarl like old lead pipes. Your back a map of aches from decades of wrestling Rome's waterworks. The Subura is still your gritty home. Its alleys thick with the clamor of carts, the stench of fish stalls, and the endless drip of fountains you've patched since you were a boy. You're a plumber renowned, leading crews on public fountains and legion camps. But now you've landed a contract that's the talk of Rome, maintaining the Colosseum's drainage system, where water flows as fiercely as the crowd's roars. With Marcus, 20, apprenticing under you, Claudia, 10, dreaming of pipe dragons, and Livia's health fragile but holding, you're stepping into the Empire's spotlight, mingling with gladiators and glory, though the Subura's shadow clings like damp. Morning breaks over Rome, the air sharp with smoke and anticipation as you head to the Colosseum, tools slung, Marcus at your side. The amphitheater looms, its arches a marvel of stone and sweat, where 50,000 Romans cheer for blood and spectacle. Your job's below, in the hypogeum's dark maze, where drains channel water waste and worse from stage battles and flooded Naumachii. Moxie fights historians call a Roman obsession. You're fixing pipes that flush the arena's underbelly, ensuring water flows out, not in. The system's a beast. Lead tubes thicker than your arm, clay channels slick with grime. You show Marcus how to seal a crack, your hammer steady, and he follows, his hands sure now, though he grumbles about the stench. You quip that gladiators smell worse, earning his laugh. The Colosseum's a world apart from the Subura. You glimpse gladiators training, their swords glinting, and overhear senators betting on fights, their togas crisp while your tunic stained. A quirky habit spread among arena workers. Some toss bone shards into drains of luck, claiming it feeds the arena's spirit. You find one in a pipe, muttering to Marcus that spirits don't pay for fixes, and clear it, the water rushing clean. Historians still argue whether Rome's water system, including the Colosseum's drains, spread disease or kept it at bay, with some blaming stagnant pools for fevers, while others praise the flow for flushing filth. You're cautious, boiling water for Livia and the kids, wary of the Subura's plagues. Remember Livia's cough? Work's intense. The Colosseum's pace brutal. You crawl through tunnels, dodging rats and torch smoke, sealing pipes under the foreman's hawkish eye. Marcus keeps up, his defiance softer now, and you're proud, though you worry about lead fumes. Remember your own scars? A mistake stings. You misjudge a pipe's pressure and water sprays, soaking a cage of props. You redo it, cursing under the roars above, joking to Marcus that you're staging your own flood. He grins, saying you're leakier than the Tiber, and you retort he's got your bad aim. The coin's good, though, enough to dream of a Celian home, cleaner air for Claudia, who still ties ribbons to your tools for luck. Remember Livia's Subura magic? The Subura's dangers don't pause for glory. A night job near a tavern turns dicey when a drunk swings a fist, and you pull Marcus clear, heart pounding. Another day, a scaffold wobbles in the Colosseum's depths, and you shove him out of harm's way, muttering about Rome's rickety ways. Remember that aqueduct scare? You double-check every rung, teaching Marcus to do the same. Back home, Livia's cough is lighter, but she's frail, her eyes worried as she stitches Claudia's tunics. You brew her herbs, slipping her extra coin for medicine, and tell Claudia tales of gladiators, spinning pipes as their water shields. She giggles, demanding a fountain shaped like a sword, and you promise, half serious. The Colosseum's crowds are athrill, roars shaking the stone as you work below, feeling Rome's pulse. You share bread with a gladiator once, his scars mirroring yours, and he jokes that pipes are tougher than lions. You laugh, saying lions don't leak, and pocket has offered wine for Livia. Gaius, nearly better than now, hears your tales and nods, saying, "Big arena, bigger risks, rat." His words hit. You're in deep, the contract tying you to Rome's heart. Mistakes linger. A rush seal leaks, flooding a tunnel, and you redo it, losing a day's pay. You mutter to Marcus that even emperors can't rush water, and he nods, learning. Nights find you home late, Livia's warmth easing the day's grind. Claudia asleep with her toy hammer, Marcus sketching arena drains. You talk of the Celian, a home with a private spout, and Livia smiles, coughing less, her faith in you a steady flow. The Sabura's fountain drones outside, its drip a proud rhythm now, blending with the Colosseum's distant cheers. You're a plumber, a father, a man in Rome's spotlight, balancing glory and grit, one pipe, one roar at a time. You're 50 now, your hands gnarled as the lead pipes you've shaped for decades, your body a ledger of aches from Rome's relentless waterworks. The Sabura is still your home, its alleys thick with the stench of tanners, the shouts of hawkers, and the ceaseless drip of fountains you've patched since boyhood. You're a plumber of renown, leading crews on public fountains and the Colosseum's drains, but betrayal by a partner, Decimus, your old friend, has cracked your trust like a brittle pipe. Marcus, 22, is your apprentice now. Claudia, 12, dreams of pipe dragons, and Livia's health holds steady, though her cough lingers. Today, you're fixing a Sabura leak while grappling with the sting of disloyalty, Rome's cutthroat pulse mirroring your own. Morning breaks muggy, the Sabura's air heavy with smoke and damp. You're at a tenement, Marcus at your side, patching a pipe that's flooded a weaver's room. The breaks messy, lead split, water pooling, and you find a clay amulet clogging the drain, likely a desperate charm for wealth. You clear it, joking to Marcus that Rome's prayers are leakier than its pipes. But your heart's heavy. Decimus, your partner for years, sabotaged the fountain contract, undercutting you to a forum clerk for a bigger cut. You learned it from a tavern rumor. His name on your bid, coins in his pouch. Rome's water system, feeding 1 million souls through aqueducts like the Aqua Triana, is a marvel historians praise. But down here, loyalty's as fragile as clay. You seal the pipe with resin and lime. Remember that durable trick? And the weaver pays with a worn shawl for Claudia. Betrayal's a new kind of leak, and you're reeling, questioning years of shared jobs. Marcus senses your mood, his hand steady but his question sharp. Why, Decimus, do it? You shrug, saying Rome turns friends to rivals, but it stings. Remember his calm on aqueduct scaffolds? You've taught Marcus to trade, his hammer surer now. But you warn him about trust, your voice gruff like Gaius's. Historians still argue whether Rome's aqueducts foster unity or greed, with some saying they equalize water access, while others point to private taps stealing public flows. You see it in Decimus. Greed's a tide you can't hammer shut. Work's a grind through the hurt. You take a solo job at a baker's, unclogging a drain stuffed with dough, and, quirkily, a bronze hairpin, probably a baker's wife's loss. You fish it out, joking to the owner that you're Rome's treasure hunter, and he pays with a loaf for Livia. The Sabura's dangers don't pause to betrayal. A night job near a tavern turns dicey when a drunk swings a fist, and you dodge, heart pounding for Claudia. Another day, a scaffold wobbles on a fountain repair, and you pull Marcus clear, muttering about Rome's rickety ways. Remember that Colosseum scare? You double-check every rung, teaching him vigilance, your trust in others shaken. Home's your anchor, Livia's warmth easing the sting. She hears of Decimus's betrayal and curses him softer than you, her cough lighter but present. You brew her herbs, slipping her coin for medicine, and tell Claudia tales of pipe serpents. Her giggle a bomb. Marcus, angry at Decimus, sketches new pipe layouts, vowing to outdo him. You gnawed, pride mixing with worry. His fire's like yours, but Rome's ruthless. A quirky habit spread amongst Sabira folk. They tie red cords to pipes for loyalty, claiming it binds trust. You find one on a job, leave it, and mutter to Marcus that cords won't fix betrayal. He laughs, saying you're grumpier than Gaius, who's better than now, his visits rare. Mistakes hit hard in this haze. You rush a seal, distracted by Decimus's knife, and a pipe leaks, soaking a vendor's figs. You redo it free, joking to Marcus that you're watering Rome's crops again, but the loss bites. Coin for Livia's herbs. You push on, fixing tenement leaks solo, your hammer a steady beat against anger. Gaius's words echo, pipes break, rap, but hearts hold, and you cling to them, rebuilding trust with your crew. You're saving for that Celian home, cleaner air for Claudia, a shop for Marcus, but Decimus's shadow slows you. Livia listens at night, her hand on yours, and you plan a new bid, vowing to outshine your rival. The Sabira's fountain drones outside, its drip a tense rhythm, but your family's a spark keeping you steady. You tell Marcus to watch his back, teach Claudia to boil water and kiss Livia, promising a future beyond betrayal. You're a plumber, a father, a man navigating Rome's cutthroat tides, hammering loyalty into every pipe, one seal, one vow at a time. Section 25. You're 52 now. Your joints stiff as old lead pipes. Your beard a silvered map of a life spent wrestling Rome's waterworks. The Sabira is still your home. Its alleys thick with the clamor of carts, the reek of fish stalls, and the endless drip of fountains you patched since you were a boy. You're a plumber of renown, leading crews on public fountains and the Colosseum's drains. But age is slowing you, creeping in like rust. Marcus, 24, is your right hand, running jobs of fire you recognize, while Claudia, 14, sketches pipe designs with a dreamer's flair. Livia's health holds, her cough softer, and you're easing into your golden years, delegating to younger hands while dreaming of a quieter life, maybe on the Celian hill. Morning finds you in the Sabira, overseeing a fountain repair near the old dolphin spout. Remember splashing there as a kid? Marcus leads a crew, his hammer steady as he seals a cracked pipe, while you watch, offering gruff pointers. The fountain's clogged with coins and, quirkily, a clay bird, likely a child's offering. You fish it out, joking to Marcus that you're Rome's relic collector, and he grins, saying you're too old to crawl drains. Rome's water system, feeding a million souls through aqueducts like the Aqua Triana, is a marvel historians praise. But age makes you see its flaws, leaks that outlast you, pipes that poison. You've boiled water for years, wary of fevers, and teach Claudia to do the same, though she teases you're fussier than a Vestal. You're stepping back, letting Marcus take lead. He's skilled, his hands surer than yours were at his age, but he's cocky, rushing seals like you did. Remember that flooded baker's shop? You correct him gently, your voice softer than Gaius's ever was, and he listens, though his eyes roll. Claudia joins sometimes, her sketches sharp, dreaming of fountain she'll design. You're proud but worried. Plumbing's risks, leads poison linger in your mind. Historians still argue whether Rome's aqueducts spread disease or flushed it away, with some blaming stagnant drains for fevers, while others credit their flow for Rome's health. You side with caution, cleaning tools with vinegar and warning Marcus off lead fumes, though he laughs, saying he's tougher than you. Work's lighter now. You fix a tenement pipe, delegating the crawl to a young crewman, your back protesting at the thought. The pipe's clogged with grease and, oddly, a bronze ring, maybe a lost betrothal. You hand it back to the tenant, joking you're saving her marriage, and she pays with a woven scarf for Livia. The Sabira's dangers haven't faded. A thief eyes your tools, and you scare him off with a glare, your knife untouched but ready. Remember that tavern brawl? A scaffold wobbles on another job, and you pull Claudia clear, muttering about Rome's rickety ways. You double-check every rung, teaching Marcus vigilance, your trust hard-won after Decimus's betrayal. Remember his knife in your back? Home's your haven. Livia, her cough faint now, stitches Claudia's tunics, teasing you for retiring to the shade. You brew her herbs just in case, and tell Claudia tales of aqueducts, spinning them as water roads you walked. Marcus sketches pipe layouts, planning his own crew, and you nod, seeing your spark in him. A quirky habit spread among Sabura folk. They tie green beads to pipes for longevity, claiming it ages the water well. You find one on a job, leave it, and mutter to Marcus that beads won't outlast Rome. He laughs, saying you're grumpier than Gaius, who's gone now, his warnings echoing. Big jobs eat men, rat. Mistakes still bite. Marcus rushes a seal and a fountain leaks, soaking a vendor's figs. You redo it, joking to him that you're still Rome's gardener. But the loss stings. Coin for Claudia's scrolls, her new passion. You push on, overseeing jobs, your hammer lighter in younger hands. Nights find you with Livia, Claudia sketching by lamplight, Marcus plotting contracts. You talk of the Celian, a home with a private spout, cleaner air for your kids. Livia smiles, saying you've earned shade, and you kiss her, promising a fountain shaped like her olives. The Sabura's fountain drones outside, its drip a proud rhythm, softer now as you ease back. You're delegating more, your crew tight under Marcus's lead. A job at a patrician's villa stings. The owner sneers at your gray hair, but you oversee the fix, Marcus sealing the pipe clean. You pocket the coin, muttering you'll outlast his marble. The Sabura's a cage, but your kids are the key, their future's brighter than your youth. You're a plumber, a father, a man sliding into golden years, balancing legacy and rest, one pipe, one lesson at a time. You're 55 now, your hands knotted like old lead pipes, your eyes squinting through Sabura's haze after decades of wrestling Rome's waterworks. The city's still a beast. Its alleys thick with the clamor of carts, the stench of tanners, and the ceaseless drip of fountains you've patched since boyhood. You're a plumber of legend, your name tied to the Colosseum's drains and public fountains, but you're slowing, passing the hammer to Marcus, 27, who runs his own crew, while Claudia, 17, sketches pipe designs with an artist's flair. Livia's health holds, her cough a faint echo, and you're savoring your golden years, spoiling your grandchildren. Marcus's son and Claudia's daughter, with tales of watery exploits and Roman lore, the Sabura's grit fading into memory. Morning finds you a home, a cramped but cleaner insular room, sipping watered wine as Marcus drops by with his boy, little Gaius. Name for your old mentor. Remember his gruff lessons? The kid's 3, all curls and questions, tugging your tunic and begging for pipe stories. You spin a tale of taming a sewer dragon in the Colosseum, your voice rich with exaggeration, and he giggles, swinging a stick like a hammer. Claudia visits too, her daughter, Flavia, a year-old, asleep in her arms. She shows you sketches, fountains shaped like dolphins, pipes curved like vines, and you nod, proud, though you tease her they'll leak without your resin. Rome's water system, feeding a million souls through aqueducts like the Aqua Triana, is a marvel historians praise, but you see its cracks, teaching your kids to boil water, wary of fevers. You're mostly retired, overseeing jobs in the shade, your back too stiff for crawling drains. Marcus leads a fountain repair today, and you watch, offering pointers as he seals a pipe clogged with coins, and, quirkily, a clay fish, likely a child's offering. You chuckle, saying Neptune's got a full net, and Marcus grins, his hands surer than yours ever were. Claudia's learning, too, her sketches guiding a small crew, though she'd rather design than hammer. Historians still argue whether Rome's aqueducts spread disease or flushed it away, with some blaming stagnant drains for fevers, while others credit their flow for Rome's health. You're cautious, cleaning tools with vinegar and warning little Gaius off murky puddles. though he splashes anyway, laughing like Marcus did. Remember his toy hammer? The Sabura's dangers linger, softer now. A thief eyes your coin pouch, but Marcus scares him off, his glare fiercer than yours ever was. Remember that tavern brawl? A scaffold wobbles on a job, and you shout for Claudia to check rungs, muttering about Rome's rickety ways. Remember that Colosseum scare? You've passed on vigilance, your lessons etched in your kids. A quirky habit spread among Sabura folk. They tie yellow ribbons to pipes for prosperity, claiming it grows the water. You find one on a fountain, leave it, and mutter to Marcus that ribbons won't fill your jar. He laughs, saying you're grumpier than old Gaius, and you retort he's got your bad jokes. Home's your joy. Livia, her cough nearly gone, weaves tiny tunics of grandkids, teasing you for spoiling them. You carve a wooden pipe for Gaius, telling him it's a water wand, and braid Flavia's hair, her babble echoing Claudia's. Nights find you by the fountain, yep, that dolphin one, sharing bread with Livia, recounting exploits, the Colosseum, the aqueducts that flood at your wedding. Remember the mud? Marcus and Claudia listen, rolling their eyes at your tall tales, but their kids lap it up, Gaius demanding more dragons. You've saved enough for a Celian home, almost yours, cleaner air for Livia and grandkids. A patrician's coin from a final job helped, though his sneer at your gray beard stung. Remember his marble fish? Mistakes are Marcus's now. He rushes a seal and a fountain leaks, soaking a vendor's figs. You laugh, saying he's watering Rome's crops, but he redoes it, learning like you did. Claudia's sketches spark a small contract, her pride your reward. The Sabura's fountain drones outside, its drip a proud rhythm, softer as you rest. You dream of that Celian home, a private spout for Gaius to splash in, maybe shaped like Livia's olives. Livia smiles, saying you've earned peace, and you kiss her, feeling Rome's pulse in your bones. You're a plumber, a grandfather, a man easing into shade, your legacy flowing through Marcus, Claudia, and their kids, one story, one pipe at a time. You're 57 now, your hands stiff as the lead pipes you shaped for decades, your eyes dimming but still sharp for Rome's watery veins. The Sabura is no longer home. You move to the Celian Hill, a modest house with cleaner air and a private spout, a dream carved from years of coin and sweat. Rome's pulse still surrounds you, its streets alive with chariot clatter, vendor shouts, and the gurgle of fountains you've patched since boyhood. You're a retired plumber, a legend in the Sabura's alleys. Your name tied to the Colosseum's drains and Trajan's baths. Marcus, 29, runs his own crew. Claudia, 19, designs fountains for patricians, and your grandchildren Gaius, 5, and Flavia, 3. Fill your days with laughter. But today, a Sabura festival calls you back, stirring memories and old aches as you face the legacy of a life spent taming water. Morning dawns crisp on the Celian, the air free of the Sabura's damp reek. You're heading to the old neighborhood for a festival honoring Neptune, with a dolphin fountain. Remember splashing there as a kid? Is a centerpiece, its spout gleaming thanks to Marcus's crew. Livia, her cough nearly gone, packs bread and olives, insisting on joining despite your fussing. You walk with Gaius and Flavia, their small hands in yours, chattering about pipe dragons. The Sabura is alive with color. Ribbons tied to spouts, a quirky tradition for water's blessing, and stalls brimming with figs and wine. Rome's water system, feeding a million souls through aqueducts like the Aqua Triana, is a marvel historians praise. But today it's a backdrop to celebration, not labor. You reach the fountain, and memories flood. Your first fix with Gaius, your wedding's muddy chaos, the plagues you outran. Marcus is there, overseeing a ceremonial pipe cleaning, his hammer steady as he clears a clog, coins and a clayfish, typical Sabura offerings. You chuckle, calling him Neptune's apprentice, and he grins, saying you're too old for festivals. Claudia's there too, sketching new fountain design for a senator, her lines sharp as her mother's wit. You're proud, though you tease her it'll leak without your resin. Remember that lime trick? Historians still argue whether Rome's aqueducts spread disease or flushed it away, with some blaming stagnant drains for fevers, while others credit their flow for Rome's health. You've boiled water for decades, a habit you pass to your kids, and you warn Gaius off splashing, though he giggles, soaking his tunic. The festival's a whirl of music and sweat. You share wine with old crewmen, their faces lined like yours, swapping tales of the Colosseum and aqueducts. Remember that scaffold scare? A young plumber asks about your days, and you spin a story of wrestling a sewer beast. Gaius wide-eyed at your side. Livia laughs, saying you're leakier than the Tiber, and you kiss her, her warmth grounding you. The Subura's dangers linger. A pickpocket eyes your pouch, but Marcus's glare sends him running, his vigilance your legacy. Remember that tavern brawl? A quirky habit's new. Festival goers toss pebbles into fountain for wishes, clogging spouts. You fish one out, muttering to Claudia that Neptune's got enough rocks, and she laughs, sketching a pebble-free design. Home on the Celian's your haven. The private spout your pride. Splashes clean, no Subura murk. Gaius and Flavia play there, their laughter echoing your kids' youth. Marcus visits, planning a bathhouse contract, his ambition like yours. Remember those dirt sketches? Claudia's design cell, her coin helping her young family. Mistakes are theirs now. Marcus rushes a seal, soaking a vendor's figs, and you laugh, saying he's watering Rome's crops like you did. Claudia's first fountain leaks, and you help her tweak it, your hand shaky but sure. Livia stitches tunics, teasing you for spoiling the grandkids, and you carve Gaius a wooden pipe, calling it a water wand. Knights find you by the spout, Livia at your side. The Subura's festival, a warm memory. You tell Gaius and Flavia tales of aqueducts, spinning them as water roads you built. Their gas your reward. The Celian's quiet, no fountain drone, but Rome's pulse hums in your bones. You've outlasted betrayals. Remember Decimus? And plagues, your legacy flowing through Marcus's hammer, Claudia's sketches, and your grandkids' laughter. Livia smiles, saying you've earned this hill, and you nod, dreaming of one last fountain, maybe shaped like her olives. You're a plumber, a grandfather, a man whose golden years shine brighter than lead. One story, one pipe at a time. You're 60 now, your hands gnarled as ancient lead pipes, your eyes cloudy but still catching the glint of Rome's fountains. The Celian Hill's your home now. It's cleaner air balm after decades in Subura's damp grip. Rome's pulse still surrounds you. Chariots rattling, vendors shouting, and the soft gurgle of your private spout, a luxury earned through years of sweat. You're a retired plumber, a legend whose name echoes in the Colosseum's drains and Trajan's baths, but you're content watching Marcus, 32, lead his own crew, and Claudia, 22, design fountains at Grace Patrician villas. Your grandchildren, Gaius, 8, and Flavia, 6, fill your days with laughter, but today, a legacy-defining moment calls, a ceremony honoring your life's work, tying your name to Rome's water forever. Morning dawns bright on the Celian, the air crisp as you dress in a new tunic. Livia fussing with folds despite her weakened hands. Her cough's faint now, but age slows her. The ceremonies at the Forum, near a fountain you fixed decades ago. Remember that dolphin spout? The city's honoring its water workers, and your name's on a stone plaque, a rare nod to a Subura-born plumber. You walk with Livia, Gaius and Flavia skipping ahead, their chatter about pipe dragons warming you. Rome's water system, feeding a million souls through aqueducts like the Aqua Triana, is a marvel historians praise, its scale unmatched in the ancient world. But today it's personal. your patches, your scars, etched into the city's story. The forum's a whirl of togas and cheers, the fountain gleaming under the sun. Marcus is there, his crew polishing the spout, while Claudia unveils a new design, a fountain shaped like a leaping fish. Her sketches come to life. The crowd claps, a clerk reads your name, and you stand heart-pounding as Gaius tugged your hand, whispering, "That's you, Papa. You're no patrician, but this moment's yours, a plumber's glory." A quirky tradition marks the day. Workers toss olive twigs into the fountain for endurance, a nod to water strength. You add one, muttering to Livia that olives were always her charm. "Remember your wedding's mud?" She laughs, her eyes bright, and you feel Rome's pulse in her touch. Memories flood as you stand there. Your first fix with Gaius, the Colosseum's dark drains, Decimus's betrayal. Remember his knife? You've outlasted them all. Your legacy in Marcus's steady hammer and Claudia's flowing designs. Historians still argue whether Rome's aqueducts spread disease or flushed it away, with some blaming stagnant drains for fevers, while others credit their flow for Rome's health. You've boiled water for decades, teaching your kids caution, and you warn Gaius off splashing, though he giggles, soaking his tunic. The Subura's dangers feel distant now. No thieves or wobbly scaffolds here, but you glance at Marcus, knowing he faces them daily. His vigilance your gift, works behind you, but you advise Marcus's crew. Your voice gruff as old Gaius's. A young plumber botches a seal, soaking a market stall, and you guide him, joking he's watering Rome's crops. Remember your own mistakes? Claudia's fountain sell. Her coin buy her family a better insula, and you swell with pride, though you tease her designs need your resin. Home's your haven. The Celians quiet a gift after Subura's din. You carve wooden pipes for Gaius and Flavia, calling them water wands, and tell tales of aqueducts, spinning them as water roads you built. Livia stitches her tunics, teasing you for spoiling them, and you kiss her, her warmth your anchor. The ceremony ends with wine and bread. Share with old crewmen whose scars mirror yours. A patrician nods at you, a rare respect, and you quip to Marcus that even senators drink your water. He laughs, saying you're Rome's true emperor, and Claudia rolls her eyes, sketching a fountain shaped like your hammer. Mistakes are theirs now. Marcus rushes a job, Claudia tweaks a leaky design, but you guide them, your hands shaky but sure. The Celian spout gurgles outside, a proud rhythm, no Subura drone. You dream of one last gift, a fountain for your grandkids, maybe shaped like Livia's olives, etched with your name. Night falls, Livia at your side, Gaius and Flavia asleep with their wands. You talk of the Subura, the floods, the love that held you through. Your legacy's not just pipes. It's Marcus's skill, Claudia's art, your grandkids' laughter, flowing like Rome's water. You're a plumber, a grandfather, a man whose name's on stone. Your golden years a steady stream, one story, one twig at a time. Section 29. You're 62 now. Your hands gnarled as the lead pipes you shaped for decades. Your steps slower on the Celian hills' quiet paths. Rome's pulse still hums. Chariots clattering, hawkers shouting, and the soft gurgle of your private spout, a luxury won through years of sweat. The Subura's a memory now. Its gritty alleys replaced by this cleaner air, but its fountains still call you in dreams. You're a retired plumber. Your name carved on a forum plaque, a legend tied to the Colosseum's drains and Trajan's baths. Marcus, 35, leads a thriving crew. Claudia, 25, designs fountains that grace Rome squares, and your grandchildren, Gaius, 11, and Flavia, 9, fill your days with questions and laughter. Today, a reflective pause grips you as you ponder the empire's shifting tides and your place in its watery veins. Morning dawns gentle, the Celian's air crisp as you sit by your spout, sipping watered wine. Livia's beside you, her cough a faint memory, her hands weaving a shawl for Flavia despite age's tremble. You're not working, but Marcus visits, dusty from a fountain job, and shares news. Rome's Emperor Trajan is pushing campaigns in Dacia, stretching the empire's reach. But whispers of overreach ripple through the forum. You nod, remembering tavern tales of water shortages when legions march. Historians later note that Trajan's aqueducts, like the Aqua Triana, strained to supply both city and army. Your spout's flow is steady, but you wonder if Rome's growing too fast. Its pipes, like you, creaking under pressure. Gaius and Flavia tumble in, demanding pipe stories, and you spin a tale of wrestling a sewer beast in the Colosseum. There gasps your reward. Gaius mimics your hammer swings, while Flavia sketches a fountain. Her lines like Claudia's. Remember her dolphin designs? You're proud, but age brings questions. Will Rome's water outlast its wars? Historians still argue whether aqueducts fueled Rome's glory or hid its flaws, with some blaming lead pipes for slow poison, while others praise their flow for sustaining 1 million souls. You've boiled water for decades, teaching your kids caution, and warn Gaius off licking tools, though he laughs, saying he's tougher than you. Sound familiar? You visit the Subura for old time's sake, walking with Livia to the Dolphin Fountain. Remember your wedding's flood? It's gleaming, Marcus's work, but a clod, coins, and clay bird, typical offerings, slows its spout. You don't fix it, just smile, letting younger hands take over. A quirky tradition lingers. Subura folk tie blue ribbons to pipes for peace, claiming it calms the empire's unrest. You find one, leave it, and mutter to Livia that ribbons won't stop wars. She squeezes your hand, saying you stopped enough floods, and you kiss her, her warmth easing your thoughts. The Subura's dangers feel distant. No thieves or wobbly scaffolds now. But you hear fevers creeping and worry for Marcus's crew. Marcus runs jobs like you did, is hammer steady, but he's stretched, supplying legion camps again. Remember Ostia's dust? Claudia's fountain cell, her designs and patrician villas. But she frets over costs, her young family growing. You slip them coins, your jar lighter, and tell Gaius tales of aqueducts, spinning them as water roads you walked. Mistakes are theirs now. Marcus botches a seal, soaking a market stall, and laughs, saying he's watering Rome's crops. Your old joke. Claudia tweaks a leaky design, her pride bruised, and you guide her, your voice soft as Gaius's was gruff. A patrician's nod at a festival stings less now. You outlasted their sneers, your name on stone. Home's your haven, the Celian's quiet a gift. Livia weaves, teasing you for spoiling the grandkids, and you carve Gaius a wooden pipe, calling it a water wand. Nights find you by the spout, Livia at your side, the kids asleep with their toys. You talk of Rome's tides, wars, water, time, and your legacy. Marcus's skill, Claudia's art, Gaius and Flavia's laughter. The empire is shifting, Dacia's conquest stretching its pipes. But your world's steady, rooted in love. A new dream sparks. A fountain for your grandkids, maybe shaped like Livia's olives, etched with your story. The Celian spout gurgles, a proud rhythm, no Subura drone. You're a plumber, a grandfather, a man reflecting on a life that flows like Rome's water, one tale, one pipe at a time. You're 65 now, your hands stiff as the lead pipes you've hammered for decades, your eyes dim but still tracing the flow of Rome's fountains in your mind. The Celian Hills your haven, its clean air a gift after Subura's damp grip. Your private spout gurgling like a quiet victory. Rome's pulse hums around you, chariots clattering, markets buzzing, and the distant roar of the Colosseum's crowds. You're a retired plumber, your name etched on a forum plaque, a legend tied to Trajan's baths and the arena's drains. Marcus, 38, runs a thriving crew, Claudia, 27, designs fountains that dazzle Rome's elite, and your grandchildren, Gaius, 14, and Flavia, 12, Fill your days with questions and spark. Today, though, a quiet moment by your spout stirs memories of your journey as you prepare to teach Gaius the trade, passing a torch through Rome's watery veins. Morning dawn soft on the Celian, the air cool as you sit by your spout, Livia knitting beside you, her hands slower but her smile warm, her coughs a faint memory now. Gaius bounds in, lanky and eager, begging to learn pipes like Marcus. You agree, start in with a wooden chisel, show him how to shape a mock lead tube, your voice steady despite age's rasp. Rome's water system, feeding a million souls through aqueducts like the Aqua Triana, is a marvel historians praise, its scale unmatched. But you teach Gaius its quirks, leaks that defy hammers, clogs that hide stories. You find a clay bird in your spout, likely Flavia's prank, and chuckle, telling Gaius it's a pipe dragon's egg. His eyes wide. Remember Marcus's toy hammer? Flavia joins, sketching fountains like Claudia, her designs wild. Spouts shaped like wolves, impractical but bold. You're proud. Though you tease her, they'll leak without your resin. Remember that lime trick? Marcus visits, dusty from a bathhouse job, and shares news. Rome stretching thin, Trajan's wars draining coin, whispers of unrest in the forum. Historians later note the empire's peak under Trajan, its aqueducts strained by military camps. You nod, worrying for Marcus's crew, and warn Gaius to boil water, wary of fevers. Remember Livia's scare? Historians still argue whether aqueducts spread disease or flushed it away, with some blaming stagnant drains, while others praise their flow. You're cautious, teaching Gaius to clean tools with vinegar, though he grins, saying he's tougher than Papa. You're done with jobs, but you guide Marcus's crew from shade, your voice gruff as old Gaius's. A young plumber botches a seal, soaking a market stall, and you show him, joking he's watering Rome's crops. Your old line. Claudia's fountains grace villas, but she frets over a leaky design, and you tweak it, your hand shaky but sure. A quirky tradition's new. Celian folk tie white threads to spouts for wisdom, claiming it teaches the water. You find one, leave it, and mutter to Marcus that threads won't outsmart leaks. He laughs, saying you're grumpier than Gaius, and you retort he's got your bad aim. Rome's dangers feel softer now. No Subura thieves or wobbly scaffolds, but you hear of fevers in the city's heart, and worry for Marcus's jobs. You visit the Subura sometimes, the dolphin fountain gleaming. Remember your wedding's flood? And share wine with old crewmen, their scars like yours. A patrician nods at you, respect one, and you quip to Claudia that even senators drink your water. Home's your joy, Livia weaving for Flavia, Gaius practicing chisels. You carve him a wooden pipe, water wand, you call it, and tell tales of aqueducts, spinning them as water roads you built. Mistakes are theirs now. Marcus rushes a job, Claudia tweaks a spout, but your lessons hold, etched like your plaque. Knights find you by the spout, Livia's hand in yours. Gaius and Flavia sleep with their toys. You talk of Rome's tides, wars, water, time, and your legacy. Marcus's skill, Claudia's art, your grandkid spark. The empire's straining, but your world steady, rooted in love. You dream a final gift, a fountain for Gaius and Flavia, shaped like Livia's olives, carved with your story. The Celian spout gurgles, a proud rhythm, no Subura drone. You're a plumber, a grandfather, a man whose life flows like Rome's water, one lesson, one pipe at a time.